Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, December 11th, 2022. This is episode 1952. Enjoy. Thanks for listening to this show. As an ad-supported network, we are always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our qualified audience. Are you ready to grow your business? Reach out to advertise@twit.tv and launch your campaign now. Well, hey, or should I say ho, ho, ho. It's time for the Tech Guy Show. Leo Laporte here, your tech guy. Time to talk about computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and smartphones and smartwatches, augmented reality, virtual reality, real reality, self-driving vehicles that don't self-drive, all that stuff. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. The phone lines are open. Kim Schaffer is taking your calls. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, if you hear something on the show and you go, what? Or more likely, I'd like to remember that. Then you just head on over to the show notes and everything's there, all the links. TechGuyLabs.com. TechGuyLabs.com. And we'll put links there. We don't just put links there. We'll put a transcript of the show there. It takes a couple of days, a computer to figure it all out. And then we'll put a video and audio from the show there a couple of days later and all that, So you don't, it's all there. Everything you need, all the information, you don't have to write it down right now. TechGuyLabs.com. Do remember that because if you forget, you will then say, well, where can I find this show, this Leo guy? And you'll lose me. So don't lose me. TechGuyLabs.com. 8888 Ask Leo. What happened in the news today? This week? Quite a bit. 'Twas a busy week. Let's see. We could talk about a few different things. Elon Musk's Twitter files. I don't know. I really cannot figure out what Mr. Musk is thinking or doing. He's now released, and it's actually quite interesting. He's released all the private communications, or many, I doubt all, but many of the private communications amongst Twitter executives and their so-called trust and safety team about what to do about this or that. I think his goal is to say, to show bias. Actually, it's interesting because if you look through them, there isn't a lot of bias. What you really see is the kind of messy, difficult process of figuring out how to keep a social media site safe and happy. So the premise, of course, starts with you can't just let anything happen on the site. You really can't. A couple of reasons. And we have examples of where people have done that, and it's not gone well. A couple of reasons. One, of course, Twitter's revenue comes from advertisers, and advertisers notoriously don't want to be somewhere disgusting. So that's part one. That's problem number one. And you could probably fix that. Twitter's trying to fix that right now by saying, oh, we're going to filter out stuff and your ads will never appear on anything that you don't like. That's a recipe ripe for disaster, I must say. But then there's another problem, which is it doesn't take long before your site turns into a hell site. If you don't carefully prune the garden. It's like a garden. Garden's a good metaphor. If you don't pull the weeds take over because weeds grow faster than the nice flowers. And this is true of hate and racism and disgusting stuff. It grows faster than the nice stuff. It pushes the nice stuff out. If you're a nice person, a generous person, normal person, in fact, if you're a normal, that's all we have to say. If you're normal, once all this stuff starts happening, you go, ew, and you get out of there and the weeds take over. And we've seen this happen. There are sites where there is no moderation. The best known is something called 4chan. Don't go there. And then 4chan, I guess they must have moderated a little bit, got some people unhappy, so people went to 8chan. where it was really not moderated. And it's terrible. And what's sad is there's a splash zone, a splatter zone from 4chan and 8chan, now 8kun, because the people in there get all riled up and then they go out into the real world and act like jerks. They do something called brigading, where they go in en masse. It's like an internet mob and attack somebody or something. And this is happening a lot. And the brigading, is organized inside these unmoderated sites. So Twitter, from day one, knew that, well, every social media site, Facebook too, TikTok, Snapchat, knows you can't just let anything happen. You've got to moderate. But it's very tough to know, well, what's going to cause problems. Twitter wanted to be, from day one, the free speech wing of the free speech party. That's what they said, which by which they meant, we really want to focus on free speech. So internally, they really didn't want to ban anything they didn't have to ban, but at the same time, they had these two constraints: advertisers and users. These two pressures to keep the place cleaned up a little bit, to pull the weeds. So it's actually interesting. I think Elon has his agenda is, see how jerky they were in their moderation efforts. And I don't think that's what you get out of this. I think if you look at it, of course, he knows nobody will look at it because it's too much. So people are going to look at the conclusions that Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss, the two, and I'll put this in very big air quotes, journalists that Elon has tasked with looking through this stuff. They're coming up with, the selective little bits, but read the whole thing. Read as much of it as you can take. There's a good synopsis by Devin Coldway, who's good on TechCrunch. Musk's Twitter files offer a glimpse of the raw, complicated, and thankless task of moderation. Devin writes, Musk's obvious conviction that he has released some partisan kraken is mistaken. Far from conspiracy or systemic abuse, the files are a valuable peek behind the curtain of moderation at scale, hinting at the Sisyphean labors undertaken by every social media platform. For one thing, you can't do this in public because that just amplifies the stuff you're trying to hide away, trying to put away. So to reveal too much would be, Devin writes, to expose the processes to abuse by spammers and scammers who indeed take advantage of every leaked or published detail, while to reveal too little, that leads to damaging reports and rumors as they lose control over the narrative. So it's tough. And there's debate within, and that's one of the things you see immediately with these Twitter files, is there's debate within Twitter over, well, what should we do? Should we do this? And they make mistakes. They've admitted they made a mistake with blocking that post story about the Hunter Biden laptop, but it was reversed within a day. And that's what also happens with moderation. You do something and then cooler heads prevail and you go, no, that was a mistake. And they took it back. Takey backies. So if it's sort of interesting to see these conversations, and actually in some ways it's relieving. It's interesting because it's fascinating to see, the processes involved are complex. It's hard to do this. It's hard. And I think one of the things Elon's starting to realize is it's hard. And his kind of snap judgments, this will be easy, have turned out to be, no, not quite so easy. For instance, he brought back Kanye West after his anti-Semitic statements. Kanye immediately made another one, posted a Star of David with a swastika inside. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So Elon banned him again. See, there was a reason he was banned in the first place, Elon. You see? It's complicated. It's hard. So, good article. I'll put a link in the show notes to this good TechCrunch article. But what we're seeing here is how hard it is to do these social networks at scale. And in a way, this is why I like what for some has replaced Twitter, which are these smaller social networks. Discord for your family is a great place. In fact, one of my friends, Aunt Pruitt, has his family in Slack, and they just have their own. It's private, so you don't have to moderate it. It's aunt and uncle and kids, and that's great. It's private. That's one way to do it. We have a couple of social networks that I run So that's how I know a little bit about how hard this is. We have a forum. Remember forums? They're still around for our podcast network, twit.community. And we have what's called a Mastodon instance. You might have heard that phrase quite a bit. A lot of people left Twitter to go to Mastodon. And the nice thing about Mastodon, instead of one giant blob, which like Twitter or Facebook, many thousands of people run their own little servers. They moderate. I moderate my little server at twit.social. Moderate it carefully. I spend time looking at it. But because it's only a few thousand people, I can keep a handle on it, kick out people quickly if they cause problems. And so it's become a nice little conversation pit. And the nice thing about Mastodon is then you can follow people anywhere else on any of the other servers. So you do kind of get this global access with a kind of nice, quiet local feel. It's an interesting way to solve this whole thing. Anyway, I could see how it's hard. Social's hard. I think social may be falling by the wayside as we all get kind of a little bit tired of doom scrolling through Twitter and Facebook, and we're just replacing it, I think, with what we always wanted, which was entertainment. TikTok has become, YouTube have become kind of our new TV. And for people, you just go look at somebody under 25. Not too hard; they'll get creeped out, but just kind of why they don't watch TV. They're watching YouTube and TikTok. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's quick. It's easy. Doesn't demand a lot of you. Actually, YouTube's great. Both are great because you can, if you want, dig deeper and learn. But for the most part, it's just, fun, entertaining. It's kind of like watching endless reruns of America's Funniest Home Videos, just without Bob Saget, just over and over and over again. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. I'm dressed for winter. Even though it's not really chilly in the studio, we've got our Yule log a-burning. The holidays are upon us. I'm going to get some eggnog, and we'll come back and answer some calls right after this. Hello, Sam Abuelsamid. How are you?
Hello, Leo.
Hello, Sam. What's up?
I got to try FSD beta this week.
Oh, wasn't that wonderful?
Survived.
Did you? Yeah. Did you see the article about the video that they have on Tesla's site that implies that this FSD has been around and drives beautifully? It was
the legendary Paint It Black video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Times, Tesla calls self-driving technology failure, not a fraud in the lawsuit. It's not a fraud. No, and Elizabeth Holmes' desire
to mean to not be able to do it.
Blood testing with a drop. That wasn't a fraud. That was just a failure of something that we imagined that would be amazing.
We tried to fake it till we make it, and we didn't make it yet.
It didn't make it.
We're still faking it.
We're faking it for $15,000 a pop. I paid $5,000 on my Model X for that FSD capability. That was 6 years ago. Never happened.
And it's still not happening now.
Yeah. Yeah, $5,000 I paid for the right to get it down the road. Now you pay $15,000.
Well, and one of the things, traditionally when you buy a car and, you get options on there, those options stay with that car for the life of the car. So if you buy a car with, say, a sunroof, that sunroof stays there for the life of the car. And when you go to sell the car, that adds some value to the resale value of the car. But with these software-defined features like FSD and autopilot, now when you sell a car, as soon as they get notification that the registration changed, they reach out and turn it off, and the second owner
Isn't that awful?
Has to pay for it again if they want.
So terrible.
Yeah,
it's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine finally got the FSD beta last week because they made the decision so that in order to be able to finally recognize all of the revenue from all the customers that have paid for FSD over the years, they stopped doing what they were previously doing, which was you had to have a safety score of greater than like 97 or 98 and they just opened it up to everybody. They just shipped it out to everybody. So now they can recognize all that revenue. And my friend finally got it a week and a half ago. And after trying it out the first time, he went to a store and bought a student driver sticker and put it on the trunk of his car so that he wouldn't get rear-ended.
Because I'm just learning. I'm learning. That's good. Tell that story on the air. That's hysterical. Yeah. That's hysterical. So, I'm curious what your experience has been with it. Is this FSD supposed to work on city streets as well as highways?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's supposed to be able. This is what's supposed to be able to turn these cars into robo-taxis. And,
so we can make $30,000 a year on our Tesla.
There's a reason why nobody's making money on Tesla robo-taxis yet, except for Elon.
Well, but it wasn't a failure. It wasn't fraud. It was just a failure of having high ambitions.
No, it's fraud. It's fraud.
I paid for it, and I remember I thought, I'm paying the Elon tax, and it's because I want to support him. This is the bigger fraud that bothers me. I want to support him in his mission to electrify the world and get rid of fossil fuels. And I thought, well, he says he's gonna make these luxury vehicles, and then
and to his credit, Tesla
he's done that, but he's never made the affordable Tesla, right?
No.
Hey, we'll talk in a bit. Too hot to what?
Stop.
She's too hot to answer the phones. I'm a little hot right now. I'm wearing
You have many layers.
I'm wearing my 49ers Super Bowl sweatshirt at Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, Florida, January 29th, 1995. I think that was that the catch or the catch two? It was one of them. And that was a generous gift from a listener. And then over that, I'm wearing what you and I have determined is probably a fake gold
It doesn't
Niners
have some
jacket.
of the telltale signs that
doesn't
show
have the
authenticity.
doesn't have that hologram on it.
Yeah, the hologram.
And then I just thought to top it off, I'd wear
A little
Santa
elf
hat. So actually, it's an elf hat.
You're probably rather warm in there.
They're taking bets in the chat room about how long I'll wear this, which means I'm going to wear it forever.
I was going to say 11:32.
And then I have a Green Bay scarf just to make our son happy. No, it's not a Green Bay, but it is green. Hello, Kim Schaffer, phone angel. You're the one. I hate this in interviews. It always bugs me where they interview somebody says, you are the president of the United States. And it's like, he knows that.
I'm aware.
He knows that. You don't have to tell him all of his accomplishments. What they're doing is they're telling the audience, but instead they say you, and they should just say, let me introduce my guest, Kim Schaffer. She is our phone angel. She answers the calls, gets you on the air. See, that's better than telling you what you do. You know what you do.
Yeah, I know what I do.
Kim.
Hi.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Have you finished your shopping?
I haven't started. But luckily for me, I have nobody to shop for, so I get to
always pulling the sad card, Kim.
I don't have children to buy for.
Oh,
I don't have
Kim.
Family members to buy for.
Oh, I'm
I
so
have parents,
sad.
but they're like, what do we need?
Yeah.
We're old.
So Lisa and I said no presents. This is one of those, every few years you go, no presents.
Yeah.
But of course we're going to get presents. And Grandpa, Lisa's dad said, what do you mean no presents? It's too late. He's been buying presents all year. So I think there'll be some presents under the tree. And then I thought, well, I'm going to get one present for the both of us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
A shared experience.
I'm not going to tell you what it is now. I'll tell you after Christmas.
I'll probably end up replacing this at some point, but maybe not for Christmas.
Replacing what?
This old phone of mine.
Oh, yeah, you need a new phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll buy myself a gift.
Put that on your list. Maybe
go.
Santa will bring it.
Santa will bring it.
Who should I talk to here?
Let's go to Lamarty. Now, you help people cut the cord all the time. He needs you to help him get a cord.
Get a cord.
He has nothing.
I need a cord.
You need to start him out, and he doesn't know where to start.
Thank you, Ms. Schaffer.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, Marty. Leo, the tech guy. Welcome.
Hey, Leo.
You don't have a cord? A cord to...
Well, okay, confession, I used to have Dish Network, but when they dropped the Dodgers, I dropped them because that was half the reason I had it.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
So the only thing, and I used to have a plug-in internet for my computer, for my laptop. But I dropped that years ago.
Forget the past. Let's talk about the future. What do you want to do?
Well, it all came to a head when I had to replace my big screen or my TV, and I made an impulse buy, and I bought a 65-inch Samsung because I got a great deal on it. But the stupid thing has a remote control that's voice activated and only has 4 buttons, and I'm supposed to plug that into the internet.
What do you want to do? Let me ask you again. I know, okay, you got a TV, which means you've triggered the upgrade cascade. But what do you want to do? You want to watch TV, right?
Well, I'd like.
You want to watch Dodgers games?
TV. I'd like to watch my Dodgers.
Okay.
I'd like to, that's a funny question. What do I want to do?
Yeah, that's where you got to go first. Is what am I trying to accomplish? And then I could tell you how to get there. But unless I know what you want to do, I can't tell you.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to plug my laptop or activate my laptop and use it.
You want internet, and in fact, internet will solve a lot of this because internet also will bring you all the TV and stuff you want. So,
okay,
you don't have an internet connection right now, is that right?
I have nothing. All I have is my smartphone.
I got nothing. So you have some choices. Yes. Every area in the country, well, almost every area in the country has one or two choices. About 86% of the country has a choice of cable or phone internet. Phone internet coming to you over your phone lines. I don't generally recommend that these days. It's slower. Cable's good. Now we have some more choices. The cellular companies, T-Mobile and Verizon, are offering what they call fixed wireless. They use their cellular networks for data. Now, I don't know about Bellflower. I don't know how. How's your cell signal? Is it pretty good?
Yeah.
If you have fast, reliable, and this is the key, 5G, that's not a bad way to go. T-Mobile and Verizon both offer, and it's inexpensive if you're already a customer of these services, residential internet that's just a little, I got one for my daughter. It's a little thing. She's near the highway. That's usually a good sign. The highway is where all the cell networks are. And for $25 a month, she gets very nice internet, good enough to watch TV, good enough to do all sorts of things. So that's the first question is we got to find you internet. But unfortunately, I'm out of time. Abuelsamid, the car guy coming up. Stay on the line. I'll help after you off the air. So let me see. highspeedinternet.com/bellflower. Oh, you're kind of, let's see, you can get AT&T, which is really slow, 12 megabits. That's like nothing. You can't watch TV on 12 megabits. Spectrum, your cable company, you don't have a cable company probably.
I have, like I said, I have nothing right now.
You have nothing. So Spectrum offers, besides cable TV, independently offers internet connection. Those are very, very fast. They go as fast as a gigabit.
Spectrum.
Yeah, because did you ever have a cable TV in your house?
Well, like I said, I used to have Dish Network.
Yeah, but before that, was there ever? The question I really want to know is there a cable drop in your house? In other words, did somebody ever in that house watch cable?
I don't.
Because they don't necessarily go to everywhere.
At one point, I had a router through the telephone service.
Yeah, so you don't want that. I'm looking at the telephone service right now. AT&T is so slow. You don't want that. The good news is Spectrum, Frontier, and Earthlink all offer fiber in some areas of Bellflower. So that might be worth looking. I'm going to put, or you can just go to highspeedinternet.com, and search for, these are the companies that you can contract with. But they haven't added yet to this system, to this site, is T-Mobile and Verizon. Who's your cell phone carrier?
Both, T-Mobile and Verizon. Okay. I have both.
So the question's going to be, if either one of them gives you high bandwidth connection, you can even look at your phone. At the top of your phone, where it shows your cellular connection. If it says UC or UW, next, if it says 5G with little tiny UC or UW, you have enough connection to actually get one of these residential things. And because you're already a customer, it's $25 a month, and it's about 150 megabits, which is plenty to watch what you want. Your TV, for instance, has Netflix built in. So you connect your TV to that and you can watch Netflix. You want to watch the Dodgers game, it means you're going to have to get a service that offers local channels. Now, these are expensive. It's kind of up to you, but I use YouTube TV, which is $65 a month. It's basically a cable subscription, but you get all the locals and some other stuff.
Okay.
So there's some other, and there's others like Hulu also offers this, and Sling offers this. There's 3 companies that offer kind of internet cable-like service. So you're going to get those. So you're going to have to get a high bandwidth connection. Again, the best deal is probably going to be T-Mobile or Verizon if you have enough speed. Then you're going to have to get a provider to give you the local channels. If the Dodgers is job one, you're going to need YouTube TV, Hulu, or Sling TV, because they will offer you your local channels.
Okay. Well,
it's complicated, isn't it? But the other thing you could do is are you close enough to put up an antenna?
I've got that. I do have a plug-in antenna.
Yeah, you might need more than a plug-in. I don't know if you have a line of sight to Mount Wilson. That's where most of the TV towers are.
Right.
You could probably. It might take a directional antenna depending on how far you are. Here's the website to check that. It's tvfool.com.
TV what?
TVFOOL. Fool. You fool. You got rid of your TV.
Fool.
TVfool.com, and you'll enter your zip code, and it will give you an idea of what you can get with an antenna and what kind of antenna you'd need. Now I have to run because I hear the magic music signaling the arrival of Santa Claus. No. Of Sam Abuelsamid. Oh, if your team is on NBC, I don't know who carries the Dodgers games. You can get Peacock. Yeah, you can just get one just one network. It's complicated. It's time for Sam Abuelsamid, our car guy, principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights. He is also the host of the fabulous Wheel Bearings podcast at wheelbearings.media. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
I am well.
You look very toasty.
Yeah, everybody's saying he must be sweating by now, but it's a cool day in Petaluma, so I'm surviving. It's 70 degrees in here. I guess at some point I'm going to have to strip down a little bit. So what's up in?
To be wearing all that stuff.
I know, but it's festive, don't you know? What? I'll take off the scarf. Probably don't need that. What's up in the world of Sam Abuelsamid?
Well, earlier this week, I met up with a friend of mine that owns a Tesla Model 3 because he finally got his Tesla full self-driving beta software.
Wow, aren't you lucky? I didn't even know you could get that.
Well, up until from the time they initially launched it 2 years ago until a couple of weeks ago,
it was in beta.
Tesla was requiring anybody that wanted to participate in the beta to have a safety score greater than about 97 or 98
perfect score
out of 100.
And they don't measure. They're not saying you never had an accident. They're saying you stop and slow down at every stop sign and you do all that.
Yeah, it's all about measuring how fast you accelerate if you're
never exceed the speed limit.
And slamming on the brakes all the time. And so they generate this score, and the value of it is debatable, but at any rate, that's how they were using. That was what they were using to decide who got into the beta and who didn't. Well, a couple of weeks ago, they decided, you know what? We're just going to let everybody have it.
Yikes.
Because now they can recognize the revenue that they've collected. Because people have been paying anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 over the last 6 years for full self-driving.
Well, wait a minute. For the right to buy full self-driving, because then isn't there a monthly fee?
To get it when, no, that's separate. So you have the option of buying it as a one-time purchase, or paying $200 a month for a subscription.
So if I paid the $15,000, I don't have to pay anything to do it.
That's correct.
Nice. Okay.
And so they, but while they collected that money, they couldn't actually book it as revenue towards their profits until they actually delivered the product. So they had the money in the bank, they just couldn't count it towards their profits. So now they can, since they have technically delivered full self-driving to everybody, they can book all that revenue. The problem is that it's not actually full self-driving.
Well, you have it, so tell me what happens.
Well, I don't have it. A friend of mine has it. I had a chance.
You let him drive. Let him self-drive you. Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, and I also had an opportunity to get behind the wheel for a while and try it out for myself. And when you first get it, there's a whole list of conditions. Like, for example, you have to keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel. It warns you that it may do the wrong thing at the absolute wrong time at any moment. And so you have to pay very close attention. So you can't just turn it on and then climb in the back seat and take a nap. You have to be paying attention because it can and it will do the wrong thing many times.
So that shouldn't be technically labeled full self-driving, right?
Correct. Yes.
What is that? That's level 3 autonomy. It's a kind of a driver assist.
It's because you have to supervise it all the time. That actually counts as level 2.
Oh.
So level 2, you have to supervise it all the time. Level 3, you don't have to supervise it all the time. You don't have to keep your eyes on the road, but you do have to stay alert and be ready to take over.
Stay in the driver's
about 10
seat.
seconds or so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And level 4 would be full self-driving.
Yeah. Level 4 requires no human supervision.
We're not there yet.
This system is definitely not there yet.
We're half self-driving.
Yeah. I mean, it does some things really well, like keeping the car centered in the lane, does that really well. Handles lane changes by itself very well.
Good.
Basic stuff.
By the way, my Model X did that 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And my Ford Mach-E does that right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it does that basic stuff pretty well. But so does, as you said, the Mach-E. Your Model X did
the Cadillac
years ago.
Yeah.
Cadillac Super Cruise or GM Super Cruise does it very well.
Those are the easy things to do.
Those are the relatively easy things.
Now, Super Cruise and the Mach-E will only do it on highways, mapped highways.
Correct.
Tesla's saying it'll do this everywhere. Country roads, town roads.
You can turn it on anywhere.
Oh.
And we turned it on. We pulled out of my friend's driveway. Put in a destination in the navigation, activated it, and then watched it go.
Yeah.
And it's far from
how often did you have to take over? I guess that's really the question.
Pretty regularly. It's
how far could it go without help?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
In different places, there's different locations have different road configurations and different things that you have to do. I mean, some places have a lot of roundabouts. Here in Michigan, we have a phenomenon that's known as the Michigan left turn. So on some major thoroughfares, like Woodward Avenue in Detroit and Telegraph Road, these are like 3 lanes in each direction. They're big roads, and they have a center median. And rather than try to allow traffic to make direct left turns at intersections, which is both dangerous and also not great for traffic flow, what they do is at the just like 50 to 100 yards beyond the intersection, they will have a cutout in the that median. Yeah. So you have another left turn lane. So basically, you pull in there, you do a U-turn, and then you make a right turn back. So you go back 100 yards and then do a right turn instead of doing a direct left turn. The FSD has no idea how to handle that.
I don't think I would.
Situation.
That's the strangest thing I ever heard.
It's actually, I mean, once you see it, it's actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah,
it makes sense to a human.
Sense.
Is that what we call an unprotected left turn? That's another thing.
No, an unprotected left turn is when you're doing a direct left turn across traffic.
That's dangerous and hard, and self-driving vehicles have a hard time. Now, how come can't Waymo and Cruise? These are the self-driving taxis that we see in Phoenix and San Francisco. Can't they do this?
Well, in San Francisco, at least, they don't. I've never seen this kind of road configuration in San Francisco.
Okay.
Not sure if they have them in Phoenix.
Yeah.
But the thing that those companies do is before they start testing, they go out and they create high definition maps of the area where they're going to operate. and they label everything. So if you had this kind of road configuration, it would be labeled as, if you need to make a left turn, this is, you're going to go, beyond the intersection, you're going to go in this lane. And so it has all those instructions in there. Tesla doesn't do that. They don't use high resolution maps. They just use standard street level maps and hope for the best. Which
we know that's a problem, because if there's construction, that map is out of date. And there's all sorts of problems, or an accident, or a pedestrian. All these things are not indicated on maps.
So I would strongly recommend. I'm not going to say people shouldn't buy a Tesla. That's entirely up to you. I mean, they make very good electric cars, but I would recommend that if you are going to buy a Tesla, do not spend your money on this. It is not worth it. It's not worth spending $15,000 on this, because it's neither functional nor safe. One of the things I learned early on in my engineering career, starting off on anti-lock brake systems, no matter what the system does, it has to be consistent and predictable for the driver. Yeah. So it always has to behave in the same way. FSD is totally random about the things it does.
So you have to kind of really stay on your toes, because you don't know what's going to happen.
You absolutely have to stay on your toes. You have to keep your hands on the wheel. And worst of all,
that's not relaxing.
They don't have an instrument cluster in front of the driver. Yeah. You have to be watching the road, but you also have to watch the center screen, and so you're constantly going back and forth between the center screen and the road. And there's just a little thing there that tells you what mode it's in. It's not good. It's not a good design.
Don't do this. Yeah.
They should have a heads-up display that puts it right in front of you.
Didn't Elon say, we're out of time, but didn't he say they're going to add radar now? They've given up on the camera-only solution?
Supposedly, yeah. I'll talk about that during the break.
Okay. Sam Abuelsamid, car guy at Kite House Insights and Wheel Bearings, the podcast. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Leo.
So would you like to stay, my friend?
Certainly.
Can you stay for the top of the hour?
I can do that too.
Don't you rock.
I have nowhere to go today.
Thank you, sir.
So as far as radar goes, Tesla used to have radar on their cars. What the configuration they had was 12 ultrasonic sensors, which are those little buttons you see on your bumper. They're short range sonar sensors is what they are. They're very low resolution. They're only good out to about 10, 15, maybe 20 feet at most. And they're designed for like parking assist. They're not designed for an application like automated driving. And then they also had a front long range radar sensor, which was just a standard type of relatively low resolution millimeter wave radar that is used by pretty much every manufacturer in the world for their adaptive cruise control. And it works really good for that application. It can see what's directly in front of you, how far away it is, and how fast it's moving, what the closing speed is. But again, fairly low resolution. Last year, Tesla decided, and then they also have 8 cameras. They decided last year, we don't need the radar sensor. And I think, while they claimed that they could do everything with the cameras that they were doing with the radar, in fact, when they took out the radar sensor, the system actually lost some functionality, which they still haven't fully restored. But that radar sensor, only had about 12 channels. So it didn't give you a lot of detail about what was in front of you. It could tell you if there's something there, where it is, but not much detail. And they claimed that we can do what we were doing with the radar sensor with cameras, which if I had an hour, I could explain why that isn't true. But basically, I think the real reason they took it out was because of the chip shortage. They probably couldn't get enough radar sensors, and also the cost. Removing the radar sensor saved them about $40 in cost.
What about this idea that the self-driving cars, Mel Gamel is suggesting this in our Discord, will get better over time as they learn? The neural network learns, right?
So yes and no. That is true to a point.
So this is the worst they're ever going to be. I mean, that's fair, right?
Well, not necessarily. They could get worse. So the thing is, the neural networks don't learn in the car. They are not retrained in the vehicle.
Right.
The once it's put into the vehicle, that neural net is static. Information goes, sensor
it's
data
got a
goes
model,
in,
but they can update that model with information.
They can update that model.
Yeah.
And the training happens in a data center somewhere.
Right.
Based on collecting data from the cars.
Right.
Sending it back up to a data center, and then updating the training of the model, and then updating the fleet. But there's reasons why a camera only system is still not likely to ever be as good as a system that has multiple sensor types. And I'll talk more about that at the top of the hour.
Good.
Or at the next break.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Waymos do a better job, right? I mean, I don't know about the jug handle, but they do a better job, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, they absolutely, other systems work better and more reliably. They're more restricted in where they can work. They don't try to make them work everywhere. They put them in specific areas,
right,
and they tune them to work really well in those areas.
Right. That's Blue Cruise.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, hang on. We'll be back at the top. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody. Leo Laporte here. I am the founder and one of the hosts at the TWiT Podcast Network. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we do here at TWiT, because I think it's unique. And I think for anybody who is bringing a product or a service to a tech audience, you need to know about what we do here at TWiT. We've built an amazing audience of engaged, intelligent, affluent listeners who listen to us and trust us when we recommend a product. Our mission statement as TWiT is to build a highly engaged community of tech enthusiasts. Boy, already your ears should be perking up at that, because highly engaged is good for you. Tech enthusiasts, if that's who you're looking for, this is the place. We do it by offering them the knowledge they need to understand and use technology in today's world. And I hear from our audience all the time, part of that knowledge comes from our advertisers. We are very careful. We pick advertisers with great products, great services, with integrity, and introduce them to our audience with authenticity and genuine enthusiasm. And that makes our host-read ads different from anything else you can buy. We are literally bringing you to the attention of our audience and giving you a big, fat endorsement. We like to create partnerships with trusted brands who are in it for the long run, long-term partners that want to grow with us. And we have so many great success stories. Tim Broom, who founded IT Pro TV in 2013, started advertising with us on day one, has been with us ever since. He said, quote, "We would not be where we are today without the TWiT network." I think the proof is in the pudding. Advertisers like IT Pro TV and Audible that have been with us for more than 10 years, they stick around because their ads work. And honestly, isn't that why you're buying advertising? You get a lot with TWiT. We have a very full service attitude. We almost think of it as kind of artisanal advertising, boutique advertising. You'll get a full service continuity team. People who are on the phone with you, who are in touch with you, who support you with everything from copywriting to graphic design. So you are not alone in this. We embed our ads into the shows. They're not added later. They're part of the shows. In fact, often they're such a part of our shows that our other hosts will chime in on the ad saying, "Yeah, I love that." Or just the other day, one of our hosts said, "Man, I really got to buy that." That's an additional benefit to you because you're hearing people our audience trusts saying, "Yeah, that sounds great." We always over-deliver on impressions, so you know you're going to get the impressions you expect. The ads are unique every time. We don't pre-record them and roll them in. We are genuinely doing those ads in the middle of the show. We'll give you great onboarding services. Ad tech with pod sites, that's free for direct clients. Gives you a lot of reporting, gives you a great idea of how well your ads are working. You'll get courtesy commercials. You actually can take our ads and share them across social media and landing pages. That really extends the reach. There are other free goodies too, including mentions in our weekly newsletter that's sent to thousands of fans, engaged fans who really want to see this stuff. We give you bonus ads and social media promotion too. So if you want to be a long-term partner, introduce your product to a savvy, engaged tech audience. Visit twit.tv/advertise, check out those testimonials. Mark McCrary is the CEO of Authentic. You probably know him, one of the biggest original podcast advertising companies. We've been with him for 16 years. Mark said the feedback from many advertisers over 16 years across a range of product categories, everything from razors to computers, is that if ads and podcasts are going to work for a brand, they're going to work on Twitch shows. I'm very proud of what we do because it's honest, it's got integrity, it's authentic, and it really is a great introduction to our audience of your brand. Our listeners are smart, they're engaged, they're tech savvy, they're dedicated to our network. And that's one of the reasons we only work with high integrity partners that we've personally and thoroughly vetted. I have absolute approval on everybody. If you've got a great product, I want to hear from you. Elevate your brand by reaching out today at advertise@twit.tv. Break out of the advertising norm. Grow your brand with host-read ads on twit.tv. Visit twit.tv/advertise for more details, or you can email us advertise@twit.tv if you're ready to launch your campaign now. I can't wait to see your product. So give us a ring. Oh, Jojo. Get back, Jojo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. We were talking to Lamarty. It was such a complicated issue that I really didn't have time to get to all the deets. Let me just summarize, because this is something I think a lot of people want to do. If you don't want to pay a cable bill or a satellite bill, you want to get your Dodger games, etc., over the internet, you need a fast enough internet to do that, and that could be anything from, I would say, you probably want 50 megabit download speeds or better. Anything slower than that, you're really not going to be able to, do anything else, and the quality of the TV might not be great. Netflix says to watch HD or Ultra HD, you need 25 megabits down, but I think that's a little maybe over-ambitious. Let's say 50, just to be safe. So the first step to doing this is you got to get some good internet. And we talked about a number of the possibilities. It's going to vary in every area. The fastest internet you can get will be fiber. Very few areas have that, but if you have that as an option, that's certainly something to look at. A lot of companies are offering fiber now, including in Bellflower. Mostly, though, it's going to be the most densely populated parts of town, especially where the businesses are, because businesses will often pay more for higher speed internet. They need it, right? The next highest speed will be cable. So if you have a cable drop in your house, if you've ever had cable TV in your house, you can still buy internet only from the cable company. It costs a little more to get only the internet, not the TV. They want to sell you, they want to sell you everything. They want to sell you phone, cable, internet. They'll try to get you to buy the triple play. I think in some cases there's a quadruple play. I would not if I were you. That's kind of up to you. So I would suggest that probably you don't want to go with that. Just get the plain old cable. Ask them, what's it like just for just internet? I mean, what's it like just for plain internet? And then the next step down is going to be some sort of phone system, DSL from your local phone company or somebody who provides to the local phone company. DSL, the stuff that's coming in over those 2 copper wires for your phone into the house, usually isn't very fast. Probably not adequate for watching a lot of TV. So there you go. First thing you got to do, get the internet. Now, once you've got, and this new thing that's very exciting is actually killing cable internet to some degree. I think it was more than 750,000 subscribers left cable entirely in the last quarter. That's amazing. Almost 1 million in the last quarter alone, last 3 months alone. And it's believed that most of those people decided, I'm not going to buy a cable television from the cable company. It's too expensive. I'm not going to buy internet from the cable company. It's too expensive. And we think that many of them are going to these new fixed residential 5G systems from T-Mobile and Verizon. And T-Mobile and Verizon are pricing them very aggressively right now. Probably prices will go up once they get you all locked in. But right now, if you're a subscriber already for phone service, you can get it for $25. It's more than fast enough. It'll do the job. The one, caveat is you have to be close to a 5G cell tower, close enough to get good speeds. So you need to kind of figure out, well, what, and don't look at the map they provide you, but the phone companies lie. FCC now has a broadband map that might be more reliable. But best thing to do is, if you have a phone, is look and see if you're getting what T-Mobile calls the ultra capacity UC 5G. And you'll see that on your phone, 5G UC. Inside your house, if you're getting that, you're golden. Verizon calls it ultra wideband, 5G UW. If you see those little letters up in the top corner of your phone, top right corner of your phone, you probably have enough bandwidth. They'll send you a little, you can install this yourself. They'll send you a little box, tiny little thing, size of a coffee can, that you put in your house. It will connect to the 5G network and then give you Wi-Fi inside your house. And that will be probably enough. I would put it near your television. The nice thing about this is it could be anywhere in the house. You can get a decent cellular signal. I'd put it near your television and then have a cable connecting, because all of these have a cable, Ethernet jack. Connect the Ethernet cable to your TV so that your TV at least is getting the best possible connection. And then you can use your laptops and so forth with the Wi-Fi in the rest of the house. So now we got you internet. That's just the first half of cord cutting. Now you got to get your content. And it just depends what you want to watch. And that's a big depends. Netflix, most TVs have it. You can get a Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick and add Netflix, Amazon Prime. You can stream HBO. You can stream Major League Baseball. If the Dodgers are what you care about, you can get that. Peacock sells NBC only. If you want to get a more cable-like package, then, as I mentioned, Sling TV, Hulu, and YouTube all offer, for the same price you were paying the cable company, frankly, local channels plus some extra channels, like ESPN. I pay, I think, $75 a month for YouTube TV. It's nice, though. It's nice. I can watch that everywhere. So see how it's so complicated? And then I'm going to add a third thing, which I mentioned, because he's in Bellflower, he might well have good, clear line access to Mount Wilson, where the television antennas in the Southern California area are for most of the LA stations. If he could pick up those LA stations, the cheapest, best, highest quality way to watch the Dodgers games is that way, to watch the local channels with an antenna. So that's that, you have a little time to figure this out. Spring training is not for a few months. So there's the long answer to Lamarty's short question. Bart on the line from Vancouver, Washington. Hi, Bart.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great.
What's up?
I've been using Time Machine for years.
Apple's backup solution for the Macs.
Yep. And I noticed in my notes program app that I've been missing some notes I need to look up. Is there any way that they're on Time Machine?
Yeah. Time Machine backs up everything. So Time Machine has Apple was clever on this, because normally when you back up something, you run a program, it makes a blob of everything and puts it on an external hard drive. Apple doesn't do that. The Time Machine interface, have you ever opened Time Machine?
Yeah.
It looks like a time machine, and you can go back in time. And what you'll see is your finder from every different point in time. What you want to do is look at your notes. And now this is the trick. You have to know where your notes are stored. You want to look at your notes file from whenever you think the stuff was there. And if it's there, then you're golden. So what you need to know, and this is, get ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Because this is crazy. The notes are stored. I'm looking it up right now. It's a crazy long URL in your home directory. So whenever you create an account, it's probably called Bart. If I were you, I'd make it Bart. So whatever you log in with. In that directory, so there'll be your Bart directory, there'll be a folder called Library. Now, normally you can't see that. You have to hold down the Option key. I'm going to put a link so you can follow this on a web page.
That's great.
In the library, there's another folder called Group Containers, and in that folder, there's a file called, get ready for this, group.com.apple.notes. Crazy. Yeah, don't write this down. I'm going to put a website that you can follow. But so that's the file you're going to be looking at in your time machine. I wonder if it would be really nice if Time Machine were smart enough that you could just like go to that day and open notes and see what's there. But I don't know if you can do that.
No, I don't see notes anywhere.
Yeah. So there are also programs that you can buy to recover them. But the first thing to know is where the Mac stores it. And deleted notes will be there. So you can go back. We have another article from handyrecovery.com. I think they're probably selling a program called Handy Recovery, but it does have a lot of other steps regardless that you can walk through to check. So that's probably what I would do. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls after this. Handy Recovery. Speedy recovery. I guess they're not selling anything. This is a site for recovery, which is nice. All right, Sammy, you are going to help me by giving me time to go get a cup of Joe.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you.
All right. So to try and wrap up what I started talking about earlier, with the way that Tesla is doing their sensors, they're relying primarily on cameras. And cameras are a key part of any automated or assisted driving system, because with the cameras, you have the ability to do object classification, to look at the scene and try to understand what is in there. And that's where the neural networks come into play, is to try to break up what's in that scene, to detect the road, detect other vehicles, detect vulnerable road users like pedestrians and cyclists, and understand what's in that scene around the vehicle. The problem with cameras, there's a couple of problems with cameras. One is cameras are passive sensors. So they're collecting light that's coming in from any source, an unknown source. So he doesn't know where the source is or what the source is. So it's collecting that data, but it doesn't know where the objects are in physical space. Now, you can get over that by using cameras that are mounted in parallel with an overlapping view. Basically like our eyes work. That's how we get our depth perception. We've got two visual sensors that are looking for most people in the same direction and seeing the same thing from slightly different angles. And then our brain can process that and provide depth perception. You can do the same thing with cameras. Subaru has been doing this for many years with their eyesight system. It's a stereo camera system. Mercedes-Benz, other manufacturers also use similar systems. And if you have that, then you can use basic geometry and trigonometry to calculate exactly how far an object is away and where it is in physical space, in 3D space around you. And you can get very accurate measurements that way. The problem is Tesla does not have their cameras configured that way. Tesla has 8 cameras, 3 in the front, 2 on the B pillars that look kind of forward and to the sides, 2 on the front fenders that look to the back and sides, and then 1 in the back. And the 3 front cameras are all clustered together, and it's a trifocal camera. So you have a long range camera, telephoto camera, basically a wide angle, and an ultra wide angle camera. They give you different views, but they're all clustered together. And because of that, you can't really use them to measure how far away something is. So in order to measure distance with the Tesla configuration, you have to use something known as inference. So basically what the system does is it tries to classify what's in the view, figure out, okay, there's a car there. And then it's going to use some estimate of what the area of that car is, how big that car is. And then based on how many pixels make up that view of that image of that car, it's going to say, okay, I'm going to estimate it's, 20 feet or 100 feet or 300 feet away from me. That when you do that, that's fine if you actually know what the size of the vehicle is. But the problem is, and I dropped a link in the chat to a paper that I wrote last year. If you're, for example, if you recognize that it's a van, and I use an example of the Ford Transit, which is a large full-size van, and a Ford Transit Connect, which is a very much smaller van. And they look very similar from behind. To the cameras, all it's going to recognize that it's a van. And if it assumes some size for that van, depending on which one it actually is, it's going to be way off in terms of its distance measurement, which is very problematic, which is why you want to use active sensors in conjunction with cameras. Active sensors are sensors that generate their own signal, look for a reflection coming back, and from that, they can calculate the distance to that object. So in the case of radar, it uses a radar signal, sends out radar pulses, and when that bounces back, it knows how fast that radio wave travels through the atmosphere, and it can calculate very accurately how far away the object is and how fast it's moving. Similarly, with Lidar, it does the same thing with light. Using a laser, it sends out light pulses, or in some cases, it's a continuous light wave, and calculate based on knows the speed of light and can calculate exactly how far away an object is and how fast it's moving. The combination of that with cameras can now give you a very accurate view of the environment around the vehicle. This is what Tesla lacks. They lack those other sensors. Also, the RGB cameras, the visible light cameras that they use, don't always work great in the dark. Certainly can't work in fog. Or rain or heavy snow, they can be obscured. And if you're driving into the sun in the early morning or in the evening at dusk, it can also be easily blinded by that. Other sensors can work in those other environments, which is why it's good to have different sensor modes that overlap and have different capabilities. And you combine those together, now you can have a really robust view, which is really important because those neural nets, as good as they've gotten, they still don't process a lot of information as good as the human brain does. We are evolved in a way, and we process the information that comes from our senses, and we're able to filter through a lot of nuance and figure out a lot of things that neural nets, visible or imaging neural nets, still have a very difficult time with. Especially when it's in real time, things are moving, and you have to make predictions about what it's going to do. Predicting is actually one of the hardest parts of an automated driving system, predicting what other road users are going to do in the next 3 to 5 seconds, because you have to do that before you can make a decision about what path are you going to take through that environment. So you have to decide, is that cyclist going to, or that other vehicle or that pedestrian going to suddenly move in front of me? Are they going to change directions? You
made a good point, which is humans are designed to do it one way and machines another way. And we've designed our roads for humans. So that Michigan jug handle turn and so forth is designed because we know humans can handle it. But if you were designing it for a machine, you wouldn't design it that way. In fact,
not necessarily. You have to teach the machine how to handle it.
I think this is the problem, is that humans have such different capabilities from machines that machines have a hard time navigating environments designed for humans because it assumes human capabilities.
Humans are much more adaptable. We adapt to changing environments very easily, whereas machines tend to be a lot less adaptable to subtle or major changes in their environment. They're designed for specific applications, and if you take them out of that, they don't always work very well.
Right. So it's really two problems. One is the machine has to deal with humans. The other is the machine has to deal with environments designed for human capabilities, not machine capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting conundrum. You're not going to rebuild the roads.
It's a really hard problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see why.
This is why it's taking so long to get automated vehicles on the road in volume. Yeah. We've got them in a few places. We've got them. You've got some in San Francisco. You've got some in Las Vegas. There's some in Phoenix. There's a bunch in China, in several different cities in China, in Beijing, Guangzhou, and Shanghai, where they're testing these things. But it's the number of vehicles we're talking about is in total globally is in the low thousands. Yeah. Maybe a few thousand vehicles in total.
Right.
And, in the U.S. alone, we have over 290 million registered vehicles. So, our projection at Guidehouse is that in 2030, automated vehicles will make up less than 1% of the total vehicle fleet.
Sam, you're a goodness gracious, wonderful, hell, a good guy to have on the radio show. Thank you.
Well, for as long as the radio show's around, I'll be glad to be a part of it.
All right. Take care.
I'll talk to you next week.
One more week.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Hey, Benito, can you put that elf on a shelf? Is there a way to put that on my... I'll have to learn how to do that. I'd love to put that on the TV, swinging my legs. Right there. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. And it's now time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and smart watches and smartphones and smart people and not so smart cars. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. We also have a website, techguylabs.com, and I've been put a couple of articles there on how to recover those notes. Apple's Notes feature is really nice, actually. It's a pretty good note-taking app. A very good note-taking app. Kind of like Google Keep, if you've ever used that. They're very powerful. You can do interesting things in Notes, too. There's all sorts of hidden stuff in Notes. Like you can enter an airplane a flight, UA 1260, and it will automatically update where the flight information, things like that. Very useful. I did not mention, and we put a link in the show notes to this. Actually, turns out to be a really good article at handyrecovery.com, which is, I guess, an editorial site designed around data recovery. And one of the things I didn't mention, but they mentioned, is that you don't have to use Time Machine. You may be able to find your deleted notes if in iCloud. Most of us synchronize stuff like notes to iCloud. And iCloud, if you are synchronizing to it, has a deleted notes folder that you can recover. So it would be actually in your iCloud Notes app. So you go to iCloud.com, log in with your Apple account, open the Notes app. There's a web-based Notes app. And at the bottom, there's a recently deleted folder. And so it may well be, even if you've deleted it on your machine, it's living in iCloud. And then, of course, Time Machine is probably the last resort. The last resort. 8888 Ask Leo. So, Dr. Mom, my good friend Dr. Mom, how'd your cataract surgery go?
I didn't realize I couldn't see anything until I had it done. Now I'm suddenly going, whoa.
Yeah, my mom had it done, and she said, everything's so sharp.
Yeah.
It's like the first time you get glasses. When I was in 4th grade, I got glasses. I went, oh, that's what I've been missing.
Yeah, I've been wearing glasses since I was 6 years old. This is the first time in, I'm not going to say how many years, but over 60, I woke up in the morning and could see where I was.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
I wake up and I have to find my glasses, and that usually involves a lot of padding around, feeling furniture, feeling the floor. Well, anyway, good. I'm glad that went well, and you have the other eye still to come, yes?
Yep.
Good.
I've got to say, I'm very honored that you said you're talking to smart people, and the next phone call you picked up was mine.
You're the smart one. I knew there was somebody. No, if you're smart, just because you listen to this show makes you smart.
Absolutely.
So what's up in your world, Doctor?
Well, this is going to be my last call-in for something that Amazon released on the Echoes. If you remember in September, they said they were going to turn the Echo Show 15 into a Fire TV. They flipped the switch on that this week.
Oh.
It's now a Fire TV.
Okay, so I have a show. I have one sitting right next to me, as it turns out. Is it all the shows, or do you have to get a new one?
Right now, it is only the 15. It doesn't work for the 10, 8, or 5.
Okay.
It's just the 15.
Pushing that away. And how do you activate it?
It just tells you. It's there.
Oh.
It says you want us to install the software upgrade. It installs, it restarts, and it's right there. And you have the full capability of a Fire TV, which means now my 15-inch show is in the kitchen as kind of a family information, put the grocery list and stuff like that on it. So when I'm cooking, if I want to watch TV or something, I can turn it on.
Those shows, those big shows that they released, I never got one of those. I thought, that's too big. That's like a computer monitor. But you bought one, huh?
I bought one because I had it for the kitchen. Now,
do you hang it on the wall?
I got it under counter mount, so it's off the counter.
But it's kind of cool. So it's like a 15-inch TV basically now.
Except it has worse speakers than a 15-inch TV.
Oh, well, that's terrible.
Oh, 15.
That's awful. Can you attach separate speakers?
You can if you want to put Bluetooth speakers on. I will tell you, for putting on the news, for watching a ball game, for listening to a podcast or something, it's fine. You're not going to want to listen to music on that. The sound isn't good.
That's another answer for Lamarty. He could just get some internet service and then get one of these Echo shows, keep that in the kitchen, and he's got his Dodgers games right there.
Well, but you have to have a subscription to YouTube TV.
Oh,
you have to get that.
Oh, yeah, of course. There's always an extra thing, isn't there?
Now, the other thing is they give you a little tiny on-screen remote. You can go over and touch. It is terrible. It's laggy.
So don't spend $10 more and get the remote when you buy the Echo Show 15, because they do sell it with a remote. Yeah.
The first thing they're going to do is ask you, do you want to buy a remote? And they have it at a discount price, and they say, yeah. And they say, okay, put it in the cart, and you get it. Okay. And then you have the functionality you want.
The Alexa voice remote 3rd Gen is the best way to navigate apps and services in the Fire TV experience.
Exactly.
All right. So you like it?
But, I mean, as I said, for in the kitchen, I want to watch the news.
Yeah.
I want to watch a baseball game. Keep an eye on a football game. It's fine.
We have our kitchen in the living room, so I just got a bigger TV for that. $185 for the Echo Show 15, but don't get the $185 version. Get the $195 version that comes with a remote. It sounds like that's your advice.
Okay. Or if you already had it, second the Fire TV's installed, they'll offer you, do you want to buy the remote for $10?
Dr. Mom, you saw, I know you did, the news that Amazon loses a lot of money on this service, $10 billion last year.
Oh, doesn't surprise me at all. They thought people were going to use it to buy things.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah. I use it occasionally. Like if I'm shaving and I run out of shaving cream, I'll say, Echo, buy more shaving cream. But it's a 3-step process. It's kind of annoying. It's not that easy. It's just good if you think you might forget it. So you just do it, right then when you run out. I used to remember the dash buttons. Amazon offered these for one brief shining moment until it turned out to be a big problem. They offered just a button with a brand name on it, like, paper towels. And you're supposed to stick it in your pantry next to your paper towel supply. And when you ran out, you'd push the button, and the next day more paper towels would arrive. The problem is wags would come in and press the button all the time, and it was a mess.
I don't know if you remember, they also had a gadget they were giving away called a wand, and you could scan barcodes.
I bought that, too. I have them all, man. I think I still have some dash buttons in my pantry. So what
happened was...
Yeah.
It didn't turn into a way of buying things through Amazon. I mean, I still get notifications. Hey, your printer's running low on ink. Do you want to buy it? And I say, no.
Oh, I hate that. That drives me nuts.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. So, given that they've lost $10 billion, what do you think the future? You're somebody you love your Echoes. You're the queen of the Echo ecosystem. What do you think the future holds?
I'm not sure. Part of the reason I love it, if you remember, I'm a retired physician. I work for public health now. But I used to deal a lot of times with patients who were bedbound, had very limited mobility. And the ability to voice control lights, door locks, and do things was a major bonus for these people.
Yesterday, you may have heard, we had a guy on who wanted his 98-year-old dad to be able to make phone calls and stuff. And I said, get an Echo. Yeah, voice is great for older folks.
Except they're turning off the telephone service on those. You can go Echo to Echo, but they're getting rid of the connect to your cell phone service. Yeah.
God jingity dang it.
I think they're dumping everything they thought was going to be a profit center that people just didn't use.
This is a problem, and I think this is going to be a big problem with tech in general, is they cancel stuff if it doesn't make money, and then people get miffed. And they feel like I can't trust any of this stuff, so they stop using it, period. They don't buy the next thing either, and then it fails, and that just proves they were right.
Yeah,
swear.
exactly. I mean, I don't know where they're going to go. I don't think they're going to kill it in its entirety, but I don't see a lot of new product development coming out. I remember the Astro, that robot.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
I think it's still, if you look, you can still request an invitation, but except for a couple of reviewers who got advanced copies, nobody I know ever got an Astro.
Nobody wants this robot, and you can't get it even if you did. Dr. Mom, always a pleasure. I'm going to miss talking to you on a regular basis. Maybe I could convince you to listen to the podcast once in a while and call into the new Ask the Tech Guys show once we start that next year.
I'll be happy to call in there when something new shows up.
Love it. Thank you, Dr. Mom.
Well, thank
8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. More of your calls coming up in just a little bit. Also, Chris Marquardt, our photo guy. I can't remember if he's going to be here or not this week. And Rod Pyle, our space guy. All ahead. You stay right here. Still there, Dr. Mom? You still there? You still there? Don't go away.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I had something I wanted to ask you, but now I forgot what it was. Darn it.
Yes, you want to take the bivalent booster. Yes, you want to keep wearing a mask. No, the latest variant.
Oh, everybody's getting COVID. You heard Rich DeMuro's got it. Johnny Jett's got it. Lisa and I have both started masking up again when we were anywhere indoors.
It's not just COVID. We're seeing the hospitals getting inundated with the flu
and RSV.
And with
Yep. I think Michael, our son, has the flu.
Again.
Yeah, he's pretty darn sick. I tested this morning. We all test regularly just to make sure. But I wish, there is a flu test, isn't there?
Yes, there's a rapid test for flu, but you usually don't get those in the grocery stores.
I wish they would distribute those. Those would be very handy.
It would be nice, but it's not cost. Unfortunately, everything these days are cost effectiveness.
Yeah, I know.
With the COVID, it was such a disaster if somebody got it and infected everyone.
Right.
I mean, I sit there, spend my days calling healthcare facilities like dental offices.
Right.
Do you have a policy in place if you clean somebody's teeth and the next day they call you up and say, I guess what, I have COVID?
Oh, God.
Oh, that's happening all the time. I mean, do you have to shut down?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, exactly. What would happen if, it's a mess.
My biggest laugh right now is they had to change the name of monkeypox to Mpox.
I saw that.
Monkeys got offended.
The poor monkeys. They were so unhappy. Why you call them monkeypox?
Because it's not actually from monkeys.
Mm-hmm. It's from humans. So, I wish I could remember what I was going to ask you. Darn it, it'll come to me. Well, you're listening to the show. I'll ask you, and you can answer in the chat.
I'll tell you what, Leo. I'll be in the chat.
Thank you.
If you remember what you want to ask, type it, and I'll answer it for you.
My internet doctor, ladies and gentlemen. How's San Diego? You're loving it? Are you glad you moved there?
Glad I moved there, but right now it is 45 degrees and rainy. And since I have to keep the door in the room I sit in open so our puppy could go outside.
Oh, boy. I'm
sitting here under 2 blankets with a cup of coffee.
Oh, boy. Yeah, you thought, I'm leaving Long Island. I'm coming to sunny California. Ha-ha! It's the same here.
We have to shovel snow.
Yeah, no.
To shovel.
And I'll tell you what, we are so dry that rain, I really welcome rain. I really do. Even if it's cold and damp. All right, Dr. Mom, stay well. When did you get your cataract surgery? Pretty recently, right?
It was Thursday. I drove home Saturday.
Wow.
Now I'm bugging him. When can I do the other eye?
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. How do you know you need it?
Well, in my case, I went to see the optometrist. He says the cataract in your left eye is getting bad.
Oh, they can see it. Yeah.
If your right eye was that bad, we'd take your driver's license. The problem is it sneaks up. It sneaks up on you.
Right. And I know what I'm going to ask you. Did you get a corrective lens?
Oh, of course. They take out the old lens. They put in a corrective lens.
So you don't have to wear contacts.
Well, no. I went from 1,200 in my left.
So this is better than LASIK. So once you get but the problem now, if your prescription changes, you're going to have to get a new pair of glasses. But for now, you don't have to wear glasses.
No, I wear readers. I just got
just readers
corrected.
Can you do monovision? So one is a reader eye and one is a long distance eye.
I actually tried that wearing 2 different contact lenses. I couldn't adapt to it.
I do that now, and I adapted. So I presume I could do that if I got cataract surgery. That's good.
You can't just remember. You're going to lose your depth. You lose your depth perception when you do that. So
I have magic eyes. I don't have stereo vision, so I have some sort of magical depth perception. I don't, probably from.
Oh, I don't have that.
Cicadas or something. Hey, I have to run. Thank you. Always a pleasure, Lil. Take care. How do I do ME2? Okay. Thank you. You rock. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888, ask Leo. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. I got a little elf on the shelf right there. That's nice. Swinging his legs, warming his back to the fire. I know you're listening. You're saying, Leo, it's radio. We don't see a thing. Just imagine, if you will. We do have a video stream for the crazy people that want to see a radio show on TV at twit.tv/live. Live.twit.tv also works. And there's a live stream, and you could see my little... Whoop. Don't want to ruin the illusion by putting my hand through him. 8888, ask Leo. Back to the phones. Sue is on the line from Redondo Beach, California. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Did you press the mute? You muted yourself, Sue. I can't hear you. Did you hear that?
Can you hear me?
Now you're back.
Oh, sorry.
I hate that. These phones are supposed to know that you have it to your ear and not mute, but invariably my cheekbones, my beautiful, strong, chiseled cheekbones, push that mute button. Clearly, you have beautiful cheekbones as well.
Oh, I do.
What's up?
How did you know?
I knew. I could just tell.
Well, my sister and I were having a debate yesterday. She lives in Arizona. She has cable. I don't. I just have regular old channels. And she said, well, you need to watch this show. It's so good. I said, I don't get it. I don't get anything but the old shows without cable. She goes, no, that's impossible. You get all the same shows I do. She says CBS is CBS and NBC is NBC. Why don't I get the new shows she does? I think she's wrong.
Oh, this is so complicated. Let me think about this. So first of all, what is the show that she wants you to watch?
Ghost. She said it's hilarious.
And it's on NBC?
Well, no, she didn't tell me. I think she said CBS, I think.
Okay.
But it's a new show.
Yeah.
And I don't, I get Benson. And
I've seen the teases for this. They're actually already in their second season. And it's on CBS.
Okay.
When you watch your local CBS channel, what are you watching?
Well, I get what was that one with Patricia Arquette?
You get those shows, but are you watching Channel 2? Is that what you're watching?
Well, I watch mostly,
So Ghost is on Channel 2. You could watch it with streaming. It's on Pluto TV, Paramount Plus, and YouTube, but it's also on Channel 2. And I can't think of any reason.
So why do I get Flintstones and House of Cards?
I don't know.
New.
No, I don't. I don't know. You're watching Channel 2, which is KCAL, right? Do you know that? So check.
No, I don't know that.
Yeah. So that's what so the first thing you're going to do, you're getting on this antenna. I don't think that Channel 2 in Los Angeles is playing anything different than CBS in Phoenix. I think you're just not watching it at the right time. I think you get Ghosts, in other words.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, it's at 8:30 on Thursdays. So here's my challenge to you, and see if this is, by the way, very old school. This is not how most people these days watch TV. They do it on streaming on demand. So
I know.
You could watch it on demand. But if you want to watch it on your antenna, you have to be there 8:30 on Thursday on Channel 2. And if you're not there, it's over. You're done. Unless you have a DVR, or do you have maybe even a VCR?
I do.
Okay. So
I have a DVR.
So set your DVR for Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and you will have Ghosts.
Okay. Now, again, then going back.
See, I don't think so. What I'm saying is the CBS channel in LA is not going to play different series than the CBS channel in Phoenix, except in the rare occasion where a show maybe for some reason in the local area they don't want that show. You know, there's too many gay couples in it, and so they don't want to show it. I don't think that's going to be the case in CBS LA.
So, okay, there lies my question. Can she get a different CBS than they choose to show me?
No.
Or NBC or whatever?
The network is the network. Now, remember, for instance, KCAL is not owned by CBS, I don't think. It used to be in the old days, the TV and radio stations might be owned by the network. But most of the time, that's another company that is an affiliate of the network. And so they take the network shows. They have the right not to take every show, but that's silly. The network has spent millions of dollars making and promoting Ghosts, and you can sell ads on it as a local affiliate. Why would you not put it in your schedule at the time and everybody else is watching it? You almost certainly would. Mm-hmm. So there are occasional differences, yes. But in general, especially in the primetime lineup, you're going to see the same thing. Now, Sunday morning, they're going to have local shows. You'll know they're local because they're cheesy. They're going to have local shows. Mm-hmm. Same thing in the morning when you get up and it's Good Morning L.A. You're not going to see that in Phoenix. She's going to see Good Morning Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
But the primetime lineups almost are always consistent. There have been a few cases for political, spiritual, moral, ethical reasons or whatever that local stations, local affiliates say, we're not carrying that show. Those people are crazy. I got it wrong. Channel 2, KCAL is Channel 9, owned by CBS. Channel 2 is CBS.
Channel 2 is CBS,
yeah.
4 is, I think, NBC.
Yeah.
So I should be getting, no matter if I have cable or not, the same shows that she's watching.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Cable doesn't change that. They will change the channel. You know, so you probably, for instance, here, if I want to watch Channel 2, I don't watch Channel 02. I watch Channel 702. That's the high def version of Channel 2. Okay. Cable does change the channel. Time zones change, of course, but I'm giving you the Pacific time for Ghosts.
Okay. And you said I should be able to get different shows by streaming. Am I paying for those shows?
Yeah, you would be. So, for instance, Ghosts you can watch on demand on Paramount Plus because Paramount produces it, and they're owned by CBS. It's CBS Viacom. So you could go, put on your Roku box or your Fire TV or your Apple TV. You could get the Paramount Plus app and then pay for it. I do that for Yellowstone, for instance. I want to see Yellowstone. So that's, let me give you a website. The chat room has a website that actually is a good way to find whatever it is, ontvtonight.com.
ontvtonight.com.
And it'll tell you in your local listing and your local time and your local channel what you can watch. And your cable, the channel might change, but everything else should be the same. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's really complicated, isn't it? This is what we're seeing from between Lamarty and our last call. That's what we're seeing is how crazy it's gotten. How do you know what to watch and when? Chris Marquardt. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
So you are here today. You're not here next week? Was that what it was?
No,
you're here next week too.
I will be here.
Yay!
For our last
show is next week.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Good.
Yes.
All good. All right. I will talk to you in a few minutes. Do you want me to?
I'll be here.
Get an email or anything?
No email, no nothing. I want to speculate on a few things with you.
Oh, I like that. That sounds like fun.
Yes.
All right. Talking a few. So help me, Benito, with my elf on the shelf. Now I can't figure out where elf has gone. Okay. Got it. So I get it. And then I just, instead of ME2, I use 2. Oh, clever. So can I move this little fella around a little bit? You know, what I'm thinking is maybe let's make him a little smaller and hang him on the TV set. Just on the left corner of the TV set there so he doesn't kick Chris in the face. Thanks. Wow. TriCaster, is there anything it can't do? He's moving him. He's moving him. He's changing the XY coordinates. You want to make them smaller, too. Yeah, there you go. Oh. Hey, little guy. That's so cute. Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. Because I want it to be like, wait a minute, what? I don't want it to be obvious. I want it to be what? Yeah, that guy. Stop tickling me. Benito, you rock. Thank you, sir. I'll take the con back. Isn't there a website somewhere that does all of I don't know. It's just impossible. There is an app. Actually, I should recommend this app called Broadcasts. There are several of these, but this is on iOS called Broadcasts that lets you list shows that you like to watch and then kind of helps you find it and also gives you notifications for when the next show is on. So that's a good app for people. Broadcasts. It does, wait a minute, that's the radio one. Never mind, I'm sorry, not broadcasts. What's it called? There's a TV one. What is it called? It's not broadcasts. It's called, I saw it on Reddit and I downloaded it, but I don't remember where it went. Will it be in news or information? No, the iPhone I have too many apps. Too many apps. Oh, what's it called now? Music, travel, other, and, there it is. It's called Tidbite. Nope, that's not it. That's something else. I've got too many things. Oh, under entertainment, maybe. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time to talk photography with our photo guy, Chris Marquardt. Hello, Chris. Happy holidays.
Hello. Happy holidays to you too.
It is, you have, your country invented Christmas. We have, thanks to you.
Definitely, yes, absolutely.
Yes, we have O Tannenbaum. We have, I think Germany invented the Christmas tree. And the Christmas markets on the Rhine, right? Santa Claus is ours.
They are nice. They're beautiful. Yes.
Chris
all
is
the blue wine and everything.
Blue wine comes from you. Yep. And beer. You invented Oktoberfest. Chris is a photographer who does wonderful workshops. You can find out more at discoverthetopfloor.com. He's got those Eastern European travel workshops coming up next year. He also talks a lot about photography and teaches and coaches at sensei.photo, but he joins us every week to help us get better at photography. What's the topic today?
Today I want to speculate a bit with you because we have for the last it's over 3 months now, but we have for the last 3+ months seen a bit of an explosion in creativity, in image generation. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about DALL-E. I'm talking about Midjourney. I'm talking about Stable Diffusion. All these machines that you can drop a piece of text in and it spits out an image. And these things are getting better and more interesting. And I do one podcast that's called The Future Photography. So it's I always think about where is this all going in the future in terms of photography, because that does already influence visual art and it has a chance of getting into what we still consider photography, pointing a camera at something, taking a picture, and then working on that picture and publishing it somehow. And in addition to that, I've just recently come across a little app that puts these image generators on your smartphone. And I'm not talking about something that you type something in and it sends it out to the cloud and then the result comes back. No, there's an app now called Draw Things that puts Stable Diffusion on your phone. I'm talking.
So this is better than Lensa.
On the cloud, it's on your device.
We've been talking a lot about Lensa, which is also stable diffusion, one of those AI art generators, but you upload it to their servers run it, and you download it.
They do all the heavy lifting and everything, but that is now possible to do on your phone, in the desert, offline, no connection.
Oh, I'm going to download
internet.
this. It's called Draw Things, huh?
Draw Things, and that only after 3 months of progress. So imagine a camera having that.
We're moving so fast.
That was one of these epiphanies that I recently had, and there are four things that I want to briefly touch upon. And the first one is, of course, with something like that on board in your camera. And by the way, that camera could, of course, be your smartphone. There could be a way to augment photos. You know, the AI cannot only do text to image, but it can also do image to image. So let's say you want to make everyone in the photo smile. You just tell the AI, make everyone smile, or open everyone's eyes because 3 of the group shot have their eyes closed.
This is just around the corner.
Blue frog on everyone's head, you know? This is around the corner.
Oh, my goodness.
Second thing is AI in painting. Usually we use in painting in a photo editor to remove something, like there's a lamppost or some garbage on the road, something you want to get rid of, and you paint over it and it goes away. Now imagine to paint over a part of the photo and give it a text prompt for that location to be filled with something else. Like, I don't know, this shot needs a palm tree in the background. Paint over part of the background and a palm tree pops up there because you give it a text prompt, palm tree, and it puts it in that empty spot. You know, or I don't know. It's the holidays. Replace that car with Santa's sleigh, or change the glasses on someone's face, or put a hat on someone, or turn that shirt blue with yellow polka dots. I mean, you have plenty of imagination. The third thing out of 4 is AI outpainting. That is possible today. Outpainting is where you extend a scene, and this was possible before. We call that context-aware extension of a scene. Like you just add a bit on the sides to make it a bit more wide angle. Now, just imagine you take a close-up of something and then make it more wide angle and reveal that this is taking place in a space hangar, right? You just extend the scene with what you want to extend it with. That will be in cameras, and it's not too far away. And the fourth one, I think, this is the most mind-blowing. And again, I'm talking about something that I'm pretty sure will come. It's just a matter of when, but it will come. And that is style transfer. It's also possible today, where just imagine you have a camera that has a winter wonderland mode. You don't have snow, but you want snow in the photo. Just enable winter wonderland mode, and you take a picture of something, and the camera will turn it into a snow landscape for you.
Wow. This is just around the corner. I really feel that.
Arctic ice mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could, or,
amazing.
Or you take a photo and it spits it out in Picasso mode, or in Rembrandt mode, or in Vermeer mode. Like it's going to change photography as we know it.
This program, Draw Things, is a little large. You should be prepared because
it will download 2 gigabytes of a model. You can download different kinds of models, so there are specialized models.
Oh, interesting.
It could be.
Can I download a model that has me in it? Because that's what we're doing with this verse.
The latest version, you can't load in a model that you trained on your own face. So now you can, on your smartphone, generate photos with you.
Holy cow! Yes. Holy cow! This is
so we're
incredible.
we're looking at this stuff. I'm pretty sure it won't show up in your professional DSLR, because these new things rarely do.
Right.
But it'll sneak into into camera apps on your smartphone.
And is your iPhone fast enough to do this? And how long does it take to generate the image?
With the defaults, possibly about a minute.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Bad.
That's pretty doable.
It's not like a fast graphics card, but it's a miracle that they made the iPhone do it at all, because that is very memory and CPU limited. It'll empty your battery, so you're gonna see it draining your battery quite quickly, because it's a very compute intensive. But the fact that it's possible now, and just extrapolate that a little bit into the future, the processors getting faster, the algorithms getting better.
What is this?
That's just wild.
As a photographer, does this worry you? It does mean that photography has a different meaning now, right? It's just a starting point.
It's liberating. It's making this whole thing accessible to more people who didn't have the skills. So it takes a lot of the people in the future probably won't need to know anything anymore about apertures and things. That's all skill-based things that I do pride myself in knowing these things and being able to apply them. But then on the other hand, I think it's very liberating if you are more of a text-based person.
Said the same thing.
Explain things to them.
That's true. Generating your own images is amazing. I'd be more worried maybe if it was an illustrator, because some of these illustrations it's generating are good enough to replace a professional illustrator, which is kind of amazing. In fact, I'm even seeing blogs now use these.
At this point, we still have to have the AI and the humans going hand in hand, and it's a tool. So we still have a ways to go for these things to become truly creative. So it's a bit of it's a tool at this point, but this
is the way of the world.
Exciting one.
Progress, baby. Chris Marquardt, go to discoverthetopfloor.com to find out about his upcoming workshops, and sensei.photo to get some coaching. And he joins us every week. We'll see you next week for our last Photo Guy episode. Thanks, Chris.
See you then.
Yeah, it's still working, but I gave it 768 by 768 with the photograph I took. Yeah, I kind of maybe made a mistake, but we'll see.
Do a 512, and set the number of steps down to 15 or something.
This is really so you don't need Lensa, really. This is better than Lensa. It's just not as fast. Well, it's in a way it is as fast. And you control
it'll drain your battery, but when the square is full with blue, then it's done. It's the longest progress bar in the world.
Yeah, that's okay. Very, very
but
cool.
you chose very high parameters.
Oh, I did crazy things. It
should probably return within 35, 40, 50 seconds. That's what
normally
it does. Even
I'm doing high resolution.
And,
I'm using the sample text description, which is quite elaborate. And
that doesn't make a difference. The text description doesn't make a difference.
That doesn't make it longer.
It's
just
more of the parameters. If you tap the right top and
doesn't even look anything
right top and
anything like, because I gave it a picture. It didn't. Maybe I have to check a button that says image to image. That's probably what it is.
Press the gear at the right top, and you have several parameters you can.
That's probably what I did wrong. Yeah, image size, steps, guidance scale, strength. Sampler.
So reduce the steps to get an idea, and then if you have something that works well, you can keep the same seed and just increase the steps and have it render the final version.
So cool! Look at all these different models.
Each of them is like 2 gigabytes, so you need an empty.
Glad I got a big phone. Oh my god! So I'm gonna Super Mario myself, but what I need to do is to tell it to do image to image. Yeah, that's 1.6 gigs. This is really great. Wow. So it's downloading. Unfortunately, we're in the studio and I'm on power, so none of this is going to, that's definitely how you want to do it when you have high speed.
It also turns your phone into a nice hand warmer in case it's cold.
Yeah, inside. I bet it does. Yeah. It's kind of amazing. The phone has enough, the A15 has enough processor power to do this. I
think it taps into the neural cores and uses those. I'm not sure what exactly they do, but
and Apple has, and it may. When did this come out? Because Apple
just a few weeks ago.
Okay, because Apple updated the PyTorch is what it normally uses, and it needs an NVIDIA to be fast. Apple recently did a version that uses its own APIs. And I wonder if this has that.
They did, but it's still. I've read up on it on GitHub. It's still not a full implementation. So the whole stable diffusion stuff doesn't fully run on it yet.
So I want to change the seed regularly. Okay, image size.
I think that's something to tap on. Yeah.
Yeah. High resolution fix. Okay. So
reduce the number of steps for like a test run and take the high resolution fix out.
Yeah, but I'm going to leave that because I don't mind. I'm patient. But what I want to do, though, is do image to image. And I don't. Do I have to write that in?
You can. No, you can. There's one of those buttons at the bottom.
If I take the camera, it will take a picture. So I was taking a picture. Let's find a picture.
I think it's somewhere. I'm not sure if it's GitHub, but there's a website and it explains what those buttons do, and one of them does image to image.
So I'll use a picture of Lisa.
I think if you go into the settings, there's a strength setting that you have to reduce.
Useful when generating from an image. Oh, while value would give more. Oh, that's it. To save. Yes, that's the same as stable diffusion. It's how much of the image, how much of the art. So okay, there you go. Now I'm going to do it.
And that's going
to take a while, but it's now going to use. It's going to Super Mario Lisa. Yeah. Well, that's why I got an image that had nothing from the original because I had it set to 100%. Yeah. Oh, I got to do a show. Thank you, Chris.
All right.
I don't need a man to keep me warm. I've got a fireplace right here. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, and not only do I have a fireplace, I have an elf on the shelf sitting there on my fireplace. He's quite warm. Hey, Sue. Sue was our last caller. The chat room, I think, has figured out from a clue you left us what's going on for Sue. I over-answered. So Sue said she was trying to see ghosts on CBS. Instead, she goes to that channel and she's getting a bunch of old Flintstones shows. They figured that out. The chat room is so smart. And this is because nowadays TV channels, when you're watching them over the antenna, have sub-channels. And so there's channel 2, 2.1, but there's also channel 2 sub-channel, 2.2, channel 3 sub-channel 2. There are multiple sub-channels. And so what we think is that instead of going directly to channel 2, or channel 2.1 as it's sometimes called, 2.1 is the original channel. That's where ghosts will be. She is somehow accidentally going to a sub-channel. I think, in fact, somebody gave us a list of what KCAL is doing on its sub-channels. And I think that's the problem, is that one of them is, I think, the CW. So that's why she's seeing the old TV shows. So, Sue, thanks to the chat room, we now know that you are not seeing channel 2. You're seeing channel 2.2 or something like that. Not the CW, but you're seeing something, Flintstones. So the fix for this, that's an interesting question. I think the problem is you need to rescan, because a few months ago, actually it's an ongoing process over the last year or two, channels have been moving. You may have even seen, if you watch Channel 2, you might have even seen an announcement saying, hey, we're moving on Friday, so rescan. So in your TV, because your tuner, whatever you're using to tune those over-the-air channels, there's a command to rescan. That is, go out and look for all the channels again. Some have moved. If you rescan, you will get, and we'll put a link to why this is happening, fcc.gov/rescan. But if you rescan, all your channels will adjust. And then when you go to channel 2, by default, unless you say otherwise, it should go to channel 2.1. I think that's what's happened, is that 2.1 has moved. 2.1 has changed location, and you're not getting 2.1 when you go to channel 2. You're getting something else, 2.2, 2.3. Who knows? You might be getting the Flintstones channel from Montreal, Canada. I don't know. But you're not getting what you think you're getting. So rescan, and then you should get what you want. KCAL, which I think is not channel 2. KCAL's channel 9, isn't it? So whatever channel 2 is, KCAL is the CBS alternative channel. That's what it is. So they have Stadium on 9.3, CBS Alternative on 9.2, Circle, whatever that is, on 9.4, the Home Shopping Network on 9.5, or 9.4, and Home QVC on 9.5. So I suspect this is what happened. The channels moved. You didn't know. All of a sudden, when you go to channel 2 on your TV, you're not getting channel 2. You're getting some other channel, which took over that frequency. And it's good luck. It's chance that you're getting that channel. because you might just be getting nothing. So I think the chat room has figured this out. Thank you, chat room. See, they're smart. They were thinking. I have been playing with this program, Draw Things, that Chris just recommended. Okay, it's interesting. I'll admit it. I just generated a picture of my wife in the style of Super Mario. I can't say, I don't think it's exactly what I was hoping for. It's a little more Mario-like. Anyway, very fun. Very fun. So, Sue, I hope you're still listening, because everything I told you was wrong. But thanks to the chat room, I think we now know what's right. In Los Angeles, channel 2.1 is CBS DT, 2.2 is CBS DT2, 2.3 DT3, and they have other content on there. Short answer, find the rescan command either on your TV or whatever you're using for a tuner and rescan the frequencies. That should fix it. Darlene in Torrance, California. Hi, Darlene. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. The funny thing is that Sue is just one town over from here.
Are you getting the Flintstones on Channel 2, too?
The local TV guy that I was, going to recommend for her.
Oh, how nice of you.
Anyway,
did you rescan when your channels asked you to do that? Do you even see most people?
I have done that.
You have done that. So most people don't watch over antennas anymore. So for a lot of people, it's like, well, it doesn't matter. It's only if you watch over an antenna.
Right. So you have in the past talked about a personal email. I don't know if that's the right term. I am sick of spending half my day deleting spam.
Aren't we all?
And so I'm willing to pay a minimal amount for an email service.
Unfortunately, I do think you should pay for an email service, but it's not for that reason. It's because then you'll get support. A free service isn't going to give you support. You'll have more control over it, et cetera. But unfortunately, it doesn't mean you'll get better spam filtering. Spam filtering is really hard. For years, the best spam filtering was actually not on a paid service, but on the free service Google offers, Gmail.
Right, I have Gmail.
And for a while, you were getting great spam filtering, but I've noticed in the last year, it's gotten worse.
Right. I mean, I spend time deleting the spam folder as well as, emails that keep popping.
Of course. And this is kind of one of the things that's really ruined email for all of us is how much junk there is.
Right.
A good email service, and Google does offer this, but other services might even do better, will also give you the opportunity to do some of that filtering automatically. And that's what I do to kind of clean up my mailbox. For example, I have a filter, and you can do this on Gmail, that says, if this person's not in my contact list, no, I'm sorry, I stated that wrong. And this is the key here, is to kind of do what we call they call it a white list or a clear list, where you say this person I know I want to see. So I say if the person, the sender, is in my contact list, in other words, if I know them, put that in a folder called, I say it's important. Now, instead of having to go through the entire inbox, I go right to the important folder, and I know those are messages from real people that I know. Similarly, for my wife, my mom, my sister, I put a VIP folder, and I have those three addresses. If it comes from mom@gmail.com or sis@gmail.com, put that in the VIP folder, or wife@gmail.com. Put that in the VIP folder. So now when I check my mail, I don't look at the inbox. I look at first at VIP, then at important. Now, there's a problem with this. You do get email from people you don't know that you want to see.
Right, exactly.
And so for that, you do have to go to the inbox. You can improve these filters over time so that, you move more of that into other folders. When I sign up for a service, I might, for instance, make a folder for that service and then make a filter that says, if the email comes from Substack, put it in this folder. so that it'll automatically filter it. That's where filters are really handy. There is, unfortunately, you do have to go into the inbox from time to time, and that will have spam in it. The way Google works, and the reason Gmail works so well, or used to anyway, is it's collaborative. So you help out by indicating if something's spam, press that spam button, because that helps everybody in the service. But I think the real problem is spammers are just getting better and better, and they're getting around all the filters. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's a complicated thing.
So paying for a service
isn't going to fix it. It might give you better filtering. So I use Fastmail, and Fastmail has but maybe this is a lot of work for you. Fastmail is a very sophisticated filtering system. So it has Gmail-like tags, but it also has other features that make it very powerful, but it's also, with great power comes great complexity. So it may not be a good solution for you. Yeah, paying for services isn't going to fix it. You're using the best already that there is. Unfortunately. So you now have to make whitelists. You have to kind of proactively say, oh, this, I know I want to see this. So put this in a folder, and I will always check this folder.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Because, I want to occasionally see email from CVS.
Well, see, but then you can make a CVS folder.
Well, no, yeah, but that's just one example.
Yeah, I know.
Macy's, or maybe you want to see every once in a while. Or,
right. Yeah. You can also make improved spam filters. This takes a little more sophistication. I don't think you can do this on Gmail, but for instance, if it's not in English, I just immediately move it to spam because I assume, if it's somebody I know, they're going to write to me in English.
No, it's all in English.
Unfortunately, there's plenty of spam in English.
Yeah, exactly. That Lejeune junk,
Yeah. So you can do some things, but Google's doing a lot of the most, smartest things already. It's filtering out Viagra and, it's doing it's everything it can. I don't know why Google started. For a while, Gmail was the best. I ran all my email through Gmail into my paid service because Gmail did a lot of the filtering. But lately, it's just not been worth it. It doesn't do a very good job. And so I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why they've started to fail. Is it spammers are getting smarter? Perhaps. Is it I don't know what it is. Is it people aren't pressing the spam button in Gmail? Because that's how Gmail gets trained. When you see a spam, if you, instead of deleting it, you press the spam button at the top,
right,
that tells Gmail, oh, this is spam. And if 20 people say that, then Gmail's going to not let that message ever go through again.
I'm not really using Gmail. I'm using the mail program from Apple.
Yeah, that's not it, though. That's Gmail, whatever you're connecting to with that.
Yeah, Gmail.
That's Gmail. Now, the mail program with Apple has even more filtering. And there is a third-party program you can run on your Mac called sieve that adds additional filtering. So that might be the trick for you, is to buy a program called sieve. I've used this for years. And it learns. What you do is you take a pile of your spam and you run it through sieve, and then it's more customized to you.
F-I-Z-Z?
Pardon me?
Spam what?
SPAMSIEVE. But the website is c-command.com. It's only $30. I bought it years ago and I'm still using it. It is it'll help. The problem really is that you can't be too aggressive with spam filtering because then you're going to miss stuff you want.
Right.
And this is why it's so difficult. I think so. This is all spam filters are a form of blacklisting, kind of saying, well, if the sender or the contents look like this, block it. I think you're almost better off whitelisting, saying, well, this is from somebody I know, so don't block this.
Right.
That's a little bit easier to do, but it's still going to miss stuff. So maybe you do both. I do both. I do all three, basically. I do it all. I have a custom spam filter running on the server. The reason you want to run on the server, use Gmail's, for instance, is then it doesn't even download. Sieve will download it. Your Apple Mail will still have to download everything. Then it runs it through sieve locally. and then it sorts it out. So, it's best to use both. But since Gmail's not doing a very good job anymore, you might want to add spam for sure. Spam a sieve for sure.
Spam sieve.
Yeah,
okay.
like a sieve, like a colander,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check on that.
Their icon is a colander, actually, now that I see it. It's very good, but it's not. Nothing is perfect because spam is just so nasty now.
Yeah.
And buying a service will not help. No.
Oh.
No, sorry. I wish it would. You do it for other reasons. Yeah.
Okay, well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Good luck to you in your retirement.
Thank you. Take care.
Semi-retirement.
Yeah, only really not even retirement. I'm going to be doing as many shows as ever. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you listening, Darlene. Take care. No ads today, so I have the day off. So this is cool. This program really is. This is cool. This is Stable Diffusion on your iPhone. That's kind of amazing. That's really kind of amazing. So these are all the checkpoints you can download. Whoops. Let's go back to the settings. Model, they call them models, but they're checkpoint files. Oh, how about Disney? Or let's download classic animation. Now, every one of these is huge. Everyone's 1.6 gigs. A Renaissance, Lisa, would be fun, wouldn't it? All right, as soon as this downloads, I'll try the Renaissance. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously, I have it at home on a much more powerful machine with an NVIDIA card and so forth. You mean whitelist for email LL text, or do you mean? See, unfortunately, I think this program is iOS only, and it may be a limitation of, your processor on most Android phones probably is insufficient to get the job done. That'd be my guess. Okay, there's the classic animation. Ian Thompson is going to be in studio with us on TWiT, which is very exciting. Also, let me just check real quickly. Connie Guglielmo and Alex Wilhelm via Zoom. Zoom. So you said Renaissance, huh? Let me see if there is a Renaissance. Modern Disney, Arcane, Hassan Blend, Van Gogh Style, Spider-Verse, Elden Ring, Paper Cut. Oh, that's fun. Balloon Art, Ink Punk, and Sam Does Art. I might do Paper Cut. Well, let's try classic animation. New seed. I'm going to turn up maybe to 40%. All right, now let's do an image. So I'm going to find an image of me. Let me do Leo. Photos of Leo G. Laporte. And let's find a good one a good headshot to turn into. Actually, I guess we could use one with me and Lisa. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll take that, and I'm going to do classic animation. What style should I do? Tron Legacy. Let's do classic animation. All right. And then I should change this. This is ridiculous. Classic Disney style. So I'm going to cut down these parameters. That's ridiculous.
Last hour.
Last hour. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. You get the drill. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Website, techguylabs.com. Techguylabs.com. And that's where all the links go and so forth. You know what I should find? We'll put the link to the FCC rescan instructions, but we should find a link maybe also to explain all of this silliness. It's, there's a theme to every show for some reason. The theme today is, I just want to watch TV. How come it's so complicated? Wes in Dallas, Texas is next. Hi, Wes. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, Wes.
Yes, I've been listening to you for a long time.
Nice. Welcome.
I can give you a clue. Back in the day, you recommended Philips Kuro Black television.
Yeah, beautiful plasma TVs. They were the king of the hill for a long time.
Oh, they sure were. And that puppy's still running for me.
Nice.
And I'm fixing to get a nice big Sony to replace it. But I'm really glad to talk to you.
Good.
Back in mid-teens, I bought 3 iMacs. I was raised as a Windows guy, but I thought I'd get into video editing and kind of went overboard. So I've got these 3 iMacs. One of them's got almost 0 hours on it. Another one's got maybe 100 hours, and the third one, I finally decided I could run Windows under Bootcamp.
Right.
So these puppies they're about 2015, 2014. I can only upgrade through Big Sur 11.7.1. So my key question is Bootcamp still going to be able to run on those machines?
It runs on any Intel Mac. It does not run on any of the newer Apple Silicon Macs, the M1s and M2s. Right. So yes, Bootcamp should run. I guess the thing to check, first of all, upgrade it to the latest version you can. You said Big Sur, huh?
Yeah, Big Sur.
And you'll have a Bootcamp app.
As far as it'll go.
Yeah, you'll have a Bootcamp app on Big Sur. What Bootcamp does is it takes your hard drive, splits it in two, it partitions it, and you'll get to decide how much is devoted to Windows and how much devoted to Mac. It then starts to install Windows on the Windows partition, and it does that with a Windows, install disk, or you can download the ISO of a current version of Windows to it. But Bootcamp will also download from Apple the drivers, the Windows drivers for that machine. And this is where it's going to work or it's not going to work. If Apple has appropriate drivers for your current hardware, as old as it is, and if it has Bootcamp on the computer, I'm going to guess they do have drivers, then everything will go swimmingly. Because the drivers are specific. Remember, Apple, because it makes its own hardware, may not have standard drivers. They have to make their own drivers as the hardware manufacturer. So if they've made those set of Apple drivers, the generic Windows install goes on there. You install the Apple drivers for the specific Apple hardware, mouse, keyboard, monitor, all of that stuff. And it should give you a dual boot Macintosh that can start up either in Windows or Mac. I would just say try it. If it doesn't work, you can delete the Windows partition and continue.
I have been running Windows on one of those iMacs for about 3 years. And it works beautifully.
Great.
Windows runs great on these iMacs.
Oh, wonderful.
As I listen to you, I'm concerned about end of support for these iMacs.
Yeah, so it's the same for an iMac as it would be for any Windows machine. This end of support comes not from Apple, but comes from Microsoft. So what version of Windows are you running?
10. Windows 10.
That goes through 2025. You'll continue to get updates, and they come from Microsoft, not from Apple. The Apple drivers, I doubt Apple updates those particularly, unless there's a security flaw, but you probably don't need to update them.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's a legitimate question, which is, first of all, as long as you have a Windows version that Microsoft's still supporting, you're going to get the Windows patches. Then, just like with any hardware, let's say you had an NVIDIA card. If NVIDIA said, well, we're not going to update that driver anymore, but that's really only a problem when you go to the next version of Windows. It's not so much of a problem as if you stay with Windows 10.
Hardware may not qualify for Windows 11.
It probably almost certainly doesn't.
Right.
So Apple, from time to time will update those drivers just like any hardware manufacturer, just like NVIDIA would update those drivers. At some point, Apple's going to stop updating them. But if they work with Windows 10, they're going to continue to work with Windows 10. They may not have all the latest bug fixes or whatever, but that's not going to be a problem. Apple's drivers are pretty solid. In fact, if you think about it, Apple's in a better position than most other hardware manufacturers. They know exactly what hardware you have. They know precisely what it's made. So unlike NVIDIA, which has to figure out what all the other stuff is, Apple knows. So their drivers are pretty stable. I've never seen an issue with their drivers. I think you'll be all right.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I have a second question. That's about encryption.
Okay.
Of files. Is Word, I'm encrypting a Word file that has, for example, some passwords on it.
Okay.
That I'm going to pass on to my son. I'm of your generation. And do you like the encryption on Word?
No. No.
No.
So don't. Yeah. This is a good example of a password manager would make life much, much, much easier. All the password managers have something called emergency access. I use Bitwarden, 1Password, LastPass. They all do this, where you can designate your son as your next of kin. And if something should happen to you, your son can request access to the vault. And they will get all your passwords. You can easily take the passwords you've got, put them in the password vault. Bitwarden is free. It's open source for an individual user. So that would be where I would go. Just get Bitwarden. Get your passwords into Bitwarden. In fact, the nice thing about this is once you start using it, it will automatically save any new passwords you create, right? It creates them for you and saves them. And then you designate, I've done this with my wife and my daughter. I've designated them my survivors. And the way this works is kind of a dead man switch. If you pass, then your next of kin has to send an email to Bitwarden saying he's passed, give me access. And the way they handle this, instead of requesting a death certificate or anything like that, is they send you an email. And they said, are you dead? And if you don't respond, and you get to set the time limit. I set it for a week. If I don't respond within a week, then they send the master password to unlock the vault to your next of kin and say, yep, he's gone. It's all yours now. So that's a very nice way to do that. They call it emergency access. Bitwarden is free, so there's no cost to you to doing this. I think this is probably because it's open source, it's going to continue forever. I think this is a very good way to handle that problem. You're smart. Definitely do this now, because you're going to be here for a long, long time, as am I. But just in case, it's good to have it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case.
That's good.
Yeah.
You've been very consistent in recommending Bitwarden because it's open source. I appreciate it.
I love the idea of open source, not only because it's free. That's really a secondary consideration because password managers aren't expensive. But because it is open source, it works. It's doing the right thing. People are looking at it. And it will continue on even if the company says, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore. Somebody else will take up the mantle because they have all the source code. So it's a nice way to go if you want something that's going to last. It's going to outlast you. That's the key, right?
Will Bitwarden back up to a local file?
It will. You could do it either locally or you can use their cloud. Still free.
Okay.
I would use their cloud. They've secured it well. They do a good job. And that way, you don't even have to think about backing it up. It just does it.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
And if you do it that way, by the way, then your son has easy access to it. If you've got it locally only, he has to still get into your computer and get it. But if you do it with their cloud, all he has to do is send him an email saying, give me access.
Well, luckily, he's a wizard, too. I'm retired. I wanted to travel and be a computer wizard.
Nice.
And,
nice. That's awesome.
Do photography.
Hey, what a wonderful way to spend your... I hate to use this phrase, golden years.
Golden years.
Golden years.
Welcome to golden years.
As someone in his golden years, we're in the same boat. I would say this is something everybody, even those not in their golden years, should do, because a bus can hit you at any time. You should always have this, safety valve. I think it's a really good idea.
Well, I'm looking forward to transitioning to you and Micah in the new year.
Yeah, we're not gone. I think people think because we use the word retirement. I'm only retiring for my career, 46 years in broadcast radio, but I'm still doing internet radio and internet TV. So
I love it.
I don't want to. That's perfect for me, right? So now there's no pressure. I can just do it as I want. And so it's a great way. I don't want to retire where I don't have anything to do. So this way, and it's not like I work for a living. I just talk. I can talk forever.
Wonderful.
Wes, a pleasure meeting you. Stay tuned. Keep listening. Take care. Yeah, we will continue to do. So just for those who don't know, next Sunday, my last day on the radio. But the good news is Rich DeMuro is taking over. I would never have quit if I didn't know I had somebody really good who could take over. Rich DeMuro will turn this show into Rich on Tech. That'll be every Saturday. And then Micah and I, and you may know Micah Sargent from the Saturday shows. I've been having him ghost me for the last 7 or 8 months just so he can learn the ropes. So Mike and I will do something we're going to call Ask the Tech Guys, because there's 2 of us now, and we'll do that every Sunday in the same time slot. So that is 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you like watching and listening live, you can still do that, but you'll have to do it over the internet at live.twit.tv. Won't be on the radio anymore. That's what I'm retiring from. And there's still going to be a podcast. So if you've already subscribed to the podcast, or if you go to techguylabs.com to listen or watch, all of that's going to be the same. We're going to take a little break for the holidays, and we will come back January 8th will be our first show of the new year, and it'll be me and Micah. Ask the Tech Guys. So in a way, you get, this is good. You get more, not less. You get Rich DeMuro on Saturdays and Micah and me on Sundays. We're going to take a little break. 8888 Ask Leo. Rod Pyle, Space Guy, is coming up. There's lots to talk about in space. More of your calls, too. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. You stay right here. Hello, Rod.
That hat is absolutely extraordinary.
Ho, ho, ho!
I was trying to think of the nicest word I could. And that's the one that
Actually,
came up.
I'm due to change. I'm supposed to change my hats every hour. So hold on. Let me go get
every hour
hat here. Right?
Wow.
I left your mic on. I hope you didn't say anything untoward.
Oh, no. I muttered about some of the chat going on, but that was good.
This hat... has
a
special
like
ability.
A Hershey's Kiss, yeah?
Oh, no, it's dead. We just put a new battery in, too.
It's dead, Jim.
When
you got to start putting batteries in your hats.
How could it have died so quickly?
Was it a Giz Fizz special?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it could be.
Those batteries that last a couple of weeks?
Oh, man.
Aww.
Maybe it was running all last night. I don't know. Well,
does it play Jingle Bells?
Stuck with it now. It's my hat now, baby.
Well, I hear it jangling. That's something.
Yes. All right. We will, and in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't going anywhere.
How literally the text input should be treated. All right. I'm trying to do another stable diffusion generation.
Oh. Well, you're like triple messaging today. We got the hat.
I got way too much shirt going on. That's me. I'm an ADD son of a bitch. Classic animation Christmas card. Generate. All right.
Ooh.
We'll be back right after this word from Stable Diffusion. Woohoo. Woohoo. I'm not sure if I like the future of this show. I hate change. Okay, whatever you say. I hate change too, but I'm sorry. What's kind of interesting, people are mad at me some people, not all, but some people are mad at me for doing this. And like, no, you owe us a radio show for the rest of your life. The only way out is death. All right, we'll talk in a bit, Rod. Is this 1952? 1952 is the year for this song. Also, the episode number for this show, 1952. It's not? When did that come? Well, it sounds like 1952. Let's just pretend it is. When you go to techguylabs.com, the website, this is the episode 1952. Somebody told me, I didn't even know this. You can go to techguylabs.com/1952 and go right to the show. And that's where all the links to things we've mentioned, quite a bit of stuff, is up there. We'll put a transcript of the show there after the fact, and we'll also put audio and video from the show. So that's a good thing to remember, techguylabs.com. Carmine is on the line from Naples, Florida. Hi, Carmine.
Hey, Leo. Congratulations on your Saturday retirement.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Lisa, my wife's already said, okay, first brunch. Where do you want to go? I have many, many brunches planned after 19 years of no brunch. What can I do for you, Carmine? Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it.
No problem. I don't know if you remember, but I'm the one who called about the World Series of Poker thing.
How'd that go? Oh yeah, you already told me it didn't go great. Well,
yeah, it didn't go too well, but but we'll try it again next.
Do it again next year.
Yeah,
poker. There's a lot of skill, but there's still luck. If you get bit on the river, you're going down.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Yep, that's what happens. Even the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but next year. So, was it expensive to enter? It was like thousands, wasn't
it? 10,000, yeah.
And that's gone.
Yeah, that's gone.
Well, you got all year to save up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually planning another expensive trip.
to
Dubai in a few weeks.
And that's going to be fun. I've been to Dubai several times.
Yes, I'm really, really excited.
Good.
Taking my wife and kids along. So
there's lots to see. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we're especially looking forward to the zip line.
Yeah.
Try that out.
And the malls. It's pretty amazing. So
Burj Khalifa and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. How long are you going to be there?
About 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can I do to help?
Yeah. So I'm wondering what your advice is on making sure, my cell phone would work correctly while I'm there and so forth. And if you have any advice on, what to kind of avoid with the guidelines that they have there and so forth.
Okay, do not make out with your wife in public.
Oh, I know that.
Because Dubai is a part of the United Arab Emirates, and the locals there are called Emiratis, and they're very conservative. It is not as strictly conservative as, let's say, Saudi Arabia would be. But you won't find drinking outside of the tourist areas, the hotels, the restaurants that are to cater to the West. And, tourism is a big part of their economy. So, and they understand the oil, Dubai does not have a lot of oil, oddly enough. So they understand that their subsidies, which come from other parts of the UAE, are going to run out at some point. So they really are trying to build a tourist industry. That's why Dubai is turning into the Vegas of the Middle East. But there won't be any gambling. Drinking will be confined to the hotel and restaurants that cater to tourists. There have been tourists who've gone there who have been detained for signs of public displays of affection. So I wasn't joking. Don't be careful about that.
Oh, I know. I read about that.
Be respectful, dress conservatively. Now, as for the phones, that's my expertise. I was able to use all of our phones there. It was no problem. If you have T-Mobile offers kind of limited data connectivity overseas. Dubai works. I take, when I travel, Google Fi with me, which is a T-Mobile-based MVNO Google runs, and they have even better deals overseas. They give you, basically, it's the same price internationally as it is locally. And so I always bring a Google Fi phone with me, but it runs on the T-Mobile network, so T-Mobile would be fine. If you're on Verizon, AT&T, you will have to pay for international access, and that's, I would check before you go. This may have changed, but last time I used it, Verizon made you buy day passes. So you went day by day, and it was $25 or something like that for a certain amount of data every day. If you're going for 2 weeks, who's your carrier?
AT&T.
So AT&T is $10 for a day pass internationally.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah, but it's a limited amount of data, so you got to keep that in mind. The good news is most of the places you go have Wi-Fi. This is true now everywhere in the world. So in your hotel, you're going to use Wi-Fi. So my suggestion is to use a maps program. Google Maps will do this. It lets you download a local map at the hotel where it costs you nothing, and then you can use it locally once you get out and about. That's a really good way to go. Do everything, in other words, everything that you can, do it while you're in a Wi-Fi, whether it's a hotel or restaurant or coffee shop. And then, but I have to say, Dubai is pretty sophisticated. So there's Wi-Fi a lot of places. Even in the Burj, the world's tallest building, we went up to the top there, and there was very good Wi-Fi. The Burj Khalifa.
Nice. So, I mean, this might be kind of a strange question, but, as a Westerner, I'm kind of concerned about this. Is there a way to kind of detect if there's some cameras in my hotel room or something?
Oh, wow. This is a...
Hello?
I hear something in the background. Are you listening to some rap there?
No, yeah, go ahead. You're on break.
I'm on break? I didn't even see the break happen. Okay. Sorry about that. We're on the break. I hope it interrupted at a good spot, Laura. I don't know how I missed that. I must be I'm on vacation time. This is something that Kim Commando does a lot of stuff on. There are these things you can buy that supposedly will have you find cameras. You're staying in a nice hotel, though, I imagine, right?
Yeah, we were staying at the Jumeirah Beach Hotel. So I don't
Oh my God, that's going to be. I wanted my wife was mad at me that we didn't get a. Oh, that's such an expensive, fancy place. You're fine.
Yeah,
you're fine.
So I mean, it's not Russia. I'm just wondering.
It's not Russia, and they.
Yeah.
So we will put an article from Travel and Leisure that the chat rooms find how to check for hidden cameras. You can use a flashlight. There are special devices. I have never done this in my life.
Okay. I'm a little too paranoid. But...
Yeah, I don't blame you. But if you're staying at the Al Jumeirah, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
That's what my wife told me, but, I'm a little more paranoid.
Yeah, that's the one that's like a sailboat.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. This is like you are spending more money per night than you spent to get into the poker game, I think.
Much more.
You're going to have, she's so mad. She said, we should have stayed there at least one night. They come and get you in a Rolls Royce. You're going to have such a good time. Actually, wait a minute. They come and get you in a helicopter. You're going to have a wonderful time. I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the Palm Islands.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. 2 weeks is a long time. I'm not sure I didn't want to spend 2 weeks in Vegas, but you're going to have such a great time. You're going to have such a great time.
Sounds good. Yeah, I was trying to call yesterday when Johnny Jett was on because I wanted to kind of get his opinion too on Emirates and what do you think? But I already booked, obviously, but I want to say kind of.
I think Emirates is world class. Price is no object. Dubai is made for rich people. So if you can afford to live the life in Dubai, you will live the life. It's incredible. Well, I would suggest, and we did this, there's a website called Tours by Locals where you can get somebody who lives there. I had a wonderful guide. Actually, I think we had 2 or 3 Tours by Locals where they took us around. And I wish I could remember the name of my guide. She was fantastic. They will show you the sites in a way, one-on-one that's much better. Take the whole family. And they give you can get a whole day if you want or a half day, and they'll take you everywhere. Look, toursbylocals.com Dubai. There's some really good guides there. That's fun. We took there's a little boat that you go across the river. That's fun, and that's kind of to the old town. Our guide took us to, coffee was invented in the Middle East. Oh, I got to go. We'll talk. We'll talk later. Have a great trip.
Thanks, Leo.
Awesome. He's a rocket man. Mr. Rod Pyle, our rocket man, our space guy. Our rocket man burning out there in the fuel in the space all alone, or whatever the heck Elton's singing. Rod Pyle, he is our spaceman and the host of This Week in Space on our TWiT podcast network, twit.tv/twists. He co-hosts with Tarek Malik of space.com. He's also the editor-in-chief of the National Space Society's official magazine, Ad Astra, which means to the stars. He's also the author of Space 2.0, First on the Moon, and many other beautiful, wonderful books about space. It is an honor and a privilege to speak to Rod Pyle every week on this show. Hi, Rod.
Wow, will you talk to my friends and family and tell them it's an honor?
It's an honor.
I got my shirt. Look at that.
What does
This
it
Week in
say?
Space shirt.
Oh,
It's your shirt.
do we have This Week in Space shirts?
Yeah, I got it from your merchy site.
Oh,
how about that?
Twit.tv/store, everybody.
Yeah.
Get your own. You can even get a mug with his mug, I think.
Oh, God.
No, I think it just has the logo.
So, yeah, I think it just has the logo. Nobody would want my face on the mug because they want to be able to want the coffee.
We used to do that with all of our hosts, but now we have now that we have stable diffusion, I think we might go back to getting artificial. I made a picture of I took a picture in this program that Chris Marquardt recommended of my wife and me, and this is what it did. I don't.
You look like Dick DeBartolo.
Yeah, it looks like Mario. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that's we won't do that to you, Rod. Although maybe you'd want that on a mug. I don't know.
So hey, today,
yes,
we got our Artemis I capsule back. It was a spectacular splashdown.
It was a success all around, wasn't it? What a great launch.
Everything went by the numbers. There's some little tiny stuff, but as any engineer would tell you, all these things are doomed to succeed on Earth, and you send them out into space, and that's when you're putting the pedal in the metal of doing the test. I'm pretty sure at splashdown, which was at about 9:40 Pacific time, that there were some big sighs of relief in the Boeing and Lockheed Martin boardrooms.
Well, for a while, there was some concern that they would never even get off the ground. So
yeah. But my favorite moment, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but I was checking the video of the messaging that showed up on Callisto, the ALEXA clone that was on board.
So people could buy, just to recap this, people could buy a message.
No, it's free.
Oh, free. But you could. We talked about this.
Yeah.
And this was on an iPad that was up there on the Artemis.
Right on the console, and so they were flashing messages by every few seconds, and of course, they were evaluated to make sure that they were clean and all that. I was hoping to find mine, but what I did see right as it was about to reach its furthest distance from Earth was a message that says, "We've been trying to reach you about your spacecraft expired warranty." Which I thought,
is this real? Is this real?
Yeah. No, it was on the stream from Lockheed Martin.
That's hysterical. Somebody beautiful? At Lockheed had a good sense of humor and passed that through. That's wonderful.
Actually, I don't know if they had a good sense of humor. The sender was named Blocked.
Yeah.
So pretty cool all the way around.
We've been trying to reach your Blocked. That's what you always get, don't you? When that call comes. That's hysterical.
So also note, this splashdown happened on the 50th anniversary to the day of the Apollo 17 landing on the moon.
That was the last trip to the moon.
Yeah, which was coincidental, but it was a nice coincidence.
Yeah.
It accomplished a lot of firsts. It went the farthest distance by about, I think, 20,000 miles beyond the moon, which, is for an uncrewed spacecraft, not a huge deal, but it's a good test. And when it entered the atmosphere, it came back very fast because this was a very large orbit. It performed for the first time a skip maneuver, which is where it kind of bounces off the atmosphere once before coming in for a final plunge.
Why would it do that?
It helps them scrub off speed, and it also lightens the G load. So when Apollo was coming back on these straight plunges into the atmosphere back in the 60s and 70s, you are subjecting those guys to 7 or 8 Gs, which is a lot.
Yeah.
You've been on roller coasters, 2 Gs feels like a lot. So if you break that into 2 bits, you can get it down to about 4 Gs. So it makes it easier on the astronauts. It makes it easier on the hardware.
How long do they stay at 4 Gs? That's tough.
A couple minutes. but it also allows them to coast a bit and steer, so you're able to get a more accurate reentry. And this is something that you just couldn't do with the navigation hardware back in the day when, let's not forget, all that was done with slide rules and pencils. So we've got advantages now. So the landing zone was moved from just off the coast of San Diego to off the coast of Baja California, 100 plus miles south, because we had really bad weather here and the sea state was pretty tossed. So they moved it down towards the Baja Peninsula. But everything, as you saw, just went like clockwork. Maximum temperature of the heat shield was about 5,000 degrees. So one of the big things now, this thing's coming back at Mach 32, which is fast. It's about 26,000 miles per hour.
32 times the speed of sound.
Yeah. Wow. So it's blistering. And this heat shield is made from the same stuff that the Apollo heat shields are made from. It's called Avcoat. But it was, I think we talked about this one point. It's a new formulation. They had to,
see, they missed NASA. A bet. They should make it out of the same thing they make those toy blister packs out of, because you cannot, they could not get into those.
That's true.
It would be so much better.
Because I've done that before. So
you can't melt them. Okay. All right.
But they had to reformulate the stuff because of EPA regulations, which, give NASA a pass, but they didn't. So they had some trouble. They only tested Orion once before in 2014. It didn't come back at this high a speed. They had some cracking on the heat shield. So they're photographing it now, and we should hear by sometime tomorrow how it passed the test. But everything seems to go very well. And let's not forget, we're going back to this kind of elemental, proven, trusted technology after 30 plus years of flying the space shuttle, which was kind of delicate. So it was good to see this do what they wanted it to do. I was sort of twitching and cheering and screaming in the chair.
It's hard. It's amazing that we do so well. And part of the reason you did Artemis Unmanned is so we could test this stuff without risking human lives. So big success, really.
And so you could test Callisto, so you could order more shaving cream from lunar orbit or whatever, You were talking about that earlier in the week, I think, on the big show.
Yeah.
You need, were those things called tags where you had a push button where you could just, you had
the dash buttons. The dash buttons.
Then anybody would walk by and push 3 times, of course.
Yeah,
so
Amazon thought this was a good idea. This is a good example of why NASA tests without human occupants, and Amazon does not. So they thought, we'll just make these buttons that you push to reorder stuff. And they were a horrific failure. Amazon canceled them. Actually, I was disappointed. They did have this feature where if you had just ordered, you couldn't press it 20 times and get 20, bags of kitty litter. They had an order until the order arrived. You couldn't order another one.
I suppose, but anybody who's ever been taught to not flip up the clear plastic cover and hit the abort switch would probably be nervous around one of those things, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, it is in fact the case that any teenager worth his salt would figure out as soon as that package arrives on the doorstep. Press that button again. Rod Pyle, space.nss.org. Thank you, Rod.
It's been fun. Thank you.
You're going to be here next week, right?
Of course. Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss that for the world.
You had that kind of elegiac tone. It's been fun. It's been fun.
Oh, no.
But now it's over.
I have a little song to send you before next week.
Oh, my rocket man. Burning out here and the fuel is going away.
I'll miss you terribly. I probably won't miss hearing Rocket Man too much.
I found a better song, the David Bowie, "There's a starman waiting in the sky."
I like Starman. They always play, a lot of radio stations will play Major Tom when you come on and talk about space.
No.
You want to say, do you realize how depressing that song is? As this guy's drifting away
I
and
am
dying?
sitting in a tin can.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a good song. Don't play that.
A tearjerker. Yeah.
Far away.
So I have to figure out a way to up your hat on ante for next week. That's going to be tough.
Oh, if the button worked, this would really have upped the ante 100%. This thing sings to you, but I think we used it all up. We used up all the juice.
Can you give me a reasonable facsimile?
It goes, "Have a holly jolly Christmas." But the best part is there's a motor in this.
It makes it go around.
It makes it go around in rhythm to the music.
Wow.
It's kind of frustrating. I had Burke put a battery in on this thing just a little while ago, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe it fell out. I don't know. He said the battery case was not screwed tight, which it shouldn't be, because that's just so children won't eat the battery.
Right. When they put screws on battery cases, I decided to stop buying fun things.
It makes me so
Yeah,
mad.
they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
I understand the logic, but come on, just,
Well,
you can figure out a way to do better than that with
reason
medicine bottles, for God's sake.
They put that silly warning, do not ingest. Oh, wait a minute, there's, this is interesting.
Do not eat this hat.
I'll show you the battery compartment. It's kind of where your wig would go. It's kind of a special location.
Thank God we don't need
here.
wigs.
Could I have actually? No, it popped out. That's what it is. Okay.
Okay.
I have fixed the battery. Wait a minute.
Wow. It's got a little flap and everything. That's kind of scary. Oh boy. Wow.
And it lights up.
Hat porn. Okay. Well, there we go.
Oh, what? Huh? Oh, okay. Thank you.
I don't get speechless very often, but I think this is one of those.
This is my favorite
moments.
hat. I've had this hat for some time. It's a very, very nice hat.
All right. Well,
you want another one? Here we go. All right, Rod. Have a great one. I'll see you next week. Come visit us sometime soon.
Well, hey, and if you're in on Friday morning early, drop by our Christmas party show. We're recording.
Oh, you're doing a Christmas party show? Oh, fun.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I will. Maybe I just will.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ground control to Major Tom. This is ground control to Major Tom. Here I am sitting in a tin can. For the Bowie Changes box set. Oh, God. You've been waiting to play this, haven't you? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. 2 more shows to go. 2 more and a quarter hour to go. The final countdown. Thank you, by the way. Professor Laura has been a wonderful musical director. I just think you've added so much to the show, Laura, and I'm very pleased to say she will continue on. So you will have the benefits of her musical knowledge on Rich on Tech coming up in the new year. I don't yet have word, but I believe a little bird told me that Kim Schaffer, the phone angel, will also continue on with Rich, which is good news because she's really good at picking the best calls. So that's going to start January 7th. We're going to take a little break for Christmas. I will be here next weekend, the 17th and the 18th. Final show's the 18th. We'll take a little break because, of course, Christmas Eve and day and New Year's Eve and day, nobody wants to work then. And Rich will start January 7th. So this is, I guess, the final countdown. Mike is on the line from Gulf Shore, Alabama. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Leo. How are you doing today?
Oh, I couldn't be better. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you, sir. I look forward to sitting on the porch playing checkers.
Yeah, well, once a radio guy, always.
I know. I will go to my grave with a microphone in my mouth. What can I do for you?
Well, Leo, guess what? I have a problem.
What? Why is it everybody who calls has a problem? Why is that? Okay, go ahead with your problem. Go ahead.
Well, I have an iPhone 14.
Yes.
Just got it.
Yes.
And I've had this phone number for probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have advertised the phone number all over the world.
Of course.
I'm in business for myself.
Good. So you do that on purpose. You want everybody to know.
Yes, and I have to answer my phone, okay?
Right, because you don't know who's calling. It could be a customer.
That's right.
Okay.
The last month or so, I have received a minimum of 50 robocalls a day and as high as 190.
Wow. In a day?
In a day.
Holy cow.
And I'm just wondering if there's an app or anything that you might suggest.
First thing is put yourself on the federal do not call list. There is one for cell phones. That will then make it illegal to robocall you except for campaigns. First Amendment protects political robocalls. But the ones you're getting are, your extended warranty is expiring. And would you like a timeshare in Cancun? And that kind of thing.
That's right.
And those are illegal. Now, here's the problem. Robocallers, the U.S. robocallers have definitely been cut back by getting arrested. There's a guy in Florida who perpetrated millions a day. He's gone. So they, they're doing their best to fight him, but it's hard to fight the robocalls coming from overseas. And furthermore, it's really hard to stop the ones with spoofed numbers. I'm going to bet many of those calls have your area code and maybe even your 3-digit exchange as their return.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
That's called neighbor spoofing, and they do it because it's very effective, because you look at that number and you go, hey, that might be the school calling or my doctor or, yes, a customer. So that guy's probably in Romania, but he's spoofing it. Good news is the FCC this week shut down one of the big call spoofing sites, and I think they've indicated that they're going to do that more often. So look, this is something the FCC has dragged its feet on, but they're slowly getting it together. We've talked before about caller ID authentication, which the FCC has mandated. This is called Stir and Shaken. You might have heard me talk about it before. That's a pretty memorable name. The idea is that the authenticating telephone service, the originating telephone service, authenticates that, yes, this caller has that number and is calling from our service before passing along. And then the receiving service, your phone company, looks and says, yes, this is an authenticated caller. And they are instructed by the FCC, if you don't see that authentication, do not pass that call through. The FCC maintains a database, get this, of robocalls that can be passed through.
Really?
Yeah. The robocall mitigation database, the name would imply that those are the people you can allow. No, these are the ones you cannot block, but they are slowly squeezing those people. I think they were reluctant to cut off phone companies, international phone companies.
Yeah.
They're starting to do that. In fact, this should, in theory, completely end by June 30th of next year. That deadline has been slowly pushed forward and forward, but I think it's finally happening June 30th of next year, 2023, where your local phone company may not accept a phone call that is not authenticated. At that point, the robocalls go away because, as with any spam, they don't want you to know their real number.
Absolutely.
They want to, so they spoof the number. So things are happening. One of the big spoofing services was just shut down. Actually, I think it was by Interpol. It wasn't by the FCC. It was by a law enforcement agency. The FCC has started to shrink the robocall mitigation database, so fewer and fewer phone systems can use the database. Again and again and more, on and on. Bit by bit, we're shrinking them. I can't believe you're getting so many, Mike. That's appalling.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming in on one on top of another. I mean,
that is a very odd thing. I would go to, it's of limited use, but it might help, the FCC do not call database. I do this for our landlines, if you still have landlines, and for the cell phone lines. That makes it a federal offense to call you. And so then it's overseas people only. But maybe these, I don't know what's going on, but that's certainly the first line of defense. Make sure you're in that database. I'll put a link to that database in the show notes, so you can just Google it.
I called AT&T and complained, And they said, well, that's just
it's life.
A new way of living.
Life in the big city, but it should be getting better. And AT&T is mandated and must, according to the FCC, must block those unauthenticated calls. And then the exceptions to that are slowly shrinking. And in theory, you won't get any more after June of next year. Let's see. We'll see.
There's no app that can handle this.
Oh, yeah. AT&T, you should have Active Armor installed and use it.
Okay.
All the phone company, Active Armor is AT&T's brand name, but all the phone companies have robocall anti-spam filtering for both text messages and robocalls. The problem is, as soon as robocalls go away, it'll all be text messaging, and that won't go away because that's a separate system. Right. But, we're slow. Spam, right? Spam just creeps in through all the cracks. It's like cockroaches. Mm-hmm. Pretty hard to get rid of. But the FCC is trying. I would just keep working on it, and your phone company has a system. Yeah, if you haven't installed Active Armor, that's free, and I would absolutely install that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
you have my deepest sympathy, Mike. You want to give out your number here and really get the calls? No, please. Happy holidays. Take
you
care.
Have a nice Christmas.
Thank you, Paul. Bye. I'm Mike. Paul's next in Daly City. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, welcome.
Leo,
yes.
This is Paul of Paul and Jennifer. You probably don't remember.
Oh, I remember you too. Oh,
we gave you a crappy Bluetooth speaker. Well, mediocre, but the thing was actually very good for Audible. It's what I used it for. Leo, thanks for everything. I have just two important things here, and then a little question. I wanted to give a shout out, a recognition to Lady Laura.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
She is amazing. That is one talented, beautiful human being.
Oh,
did that fine, and I will miss her. As you probably know, or maybe you don't remember, I've been a professional broadcast engineer since 1969.
The best people.
And, I've spent the last 15, 16 years doing the black art of RF up at Sutro.
Wow. Oh, you're at Sutro. Oh, I got to go up there once with Tim Posar when he was a chief.
Take you on a tour.
I've been up there. Yeah. Now you have to wear those mesh suits, don't you?
No, actually, the radiation's gone down with. Oh,
that's good. Hey, I got a break. I got to say goodbye to everybody. Hang on, I want to talk to you some more. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Have a great geek week. Is it over?
No, it's not.
It's not. I can't hear. It's really low in the background. Turn up the music, Laura.
You still have a minute.
I still have a minute. Oh, never mind,
30
Paul.
seconds.
Now there's this. Now you said I had a minute. And now it's over. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Join me next weekend, last weekend for the Tech Guy. I'll see you then. Have a great Geek Week. Bye-bye. Okay.
You had a minute when
for some reason, that music has been really low the last few breaks. I could just hear it dimly in the background.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
And so I didn't hear it, but I hear it now. That's fine. I will finish up with Paul, and then I will do your thing. Sorry, Paul.
Oh, no problem.
It's chaos here as the whole show falls apart and it's waning hours. The Sutro is so cool. When I went up there with Tim, and this was 30 years ago, there was a little shack in the top, right? Is there still there?
Well, actually, there's an elevator in the tower.
There's an elevator? We had to climb.
Oh, it must have been broken.
No, wait a minute. We didn't have to climb. There was an elevator that was ostensibly for two, but it was a very tight two. Yes.
Very tight.
I remember that.
And you're leaning sideways in one direction as you
go up the leg.
Point the waist. And then when you pass the waist, you're hanging out over nothing.
Yeah. It's like the Eiffel Tower. It's awesome. That was a real treat. But and then there's a ladder that you climb a little bit to get the final few feet. And I remember I got RF burns on my hands because at the time we didn't wear any protection. And
oh my gosh.
I had little white marks on my hands. I said, "What is that?" He said, "Oh, those are just RF burns. Don't worry about it."
I have a few of those from AM radio towers. But.
Yeah, those were the days.
Have you seen Sutro since they put in the LED lighting?
No.
The whole tower flashes in all the lights at once.
Oh, how beautiful.
They're white LEDs in the daytime and red LEDs at night. And it's phenomenal. If you ever watch KGO's 11 o'clock news, they often take a beauty shot from the image.
Oh, I'll look. Nice.
Also, I don't know if you know, a few years ago, Sutro established a website, and it's pretty darn good.
Oh.
We're off the radio, and so it probably won't crash it, but it's really, they did an excellent job. It's when they copyrighted the tower or whatever you call it, they got a whole PR firm involved.
I'm looking at it. This is great. Oh, this is so cool.
It's an amazing site. Again, the shout out to Laura. Laura is. We must be of the same mind, and I'm old enough to be her dad and happily married. But if I was 30,
she has good taste.
So years younger.
Yeah, she has good taste in music.
And one of these days, if I ever make it down to LA again, I'd love to go get a tour of the NOC there.
Do they ever open the NOC to engineers, people who know what they're doing, Laura?
No, they would never let.
It's like probably since 9/11, it's like highly secure. But
No,
maybe you could pull some strings. You must know some chiefs. We had a great chief at KFI, John Paoli, who passed away. You might have known him, Paul. And then I don't know any of the engineers now, but they're listening at the NOC. So if Paul calls, let him in. Give him a tour. He can reciprocate with a trip up to Sutro Tower.
Yes. In fact, I had, as you were talking about to Rob, Laura stole my thunder. I was going to call in and recommend a tune for Rob Pyle, because you remember Johnny Jett's theme song used to be "Leave It on a Jet Plane."
Yeah.
Which was kind of a sad song, but whatever. And then you got the Johnny Cash.
I think that's better, isn't it? Yeah.
And the Elton John is kind of a sad song, too.
A lot of the sad songs, Major Tom is sad. A lot of the songs about space are sad.
Laura stole my thunder a couple of shows back, coming out of the break, before the break that you go to Rod. She played The Byrds.
Oh.
Hey, Mr. Spaceman.
Hey, Mr. Spaceman. Yeah, I love that song. I didn't hear her play that. You played that, Laura?
A couple weeks ago.
Oh, I must have been drunk. The Byrds, they also did 8 Mile High. That's a good one. I like Mr. Spaceman. She does have good taste. Paul, give my regards to Jennifer. I have to run because I got to. Poor Laura's stuck here while we talk.
I'll be calling back next week. Will probably be crazy for you, but I do have a couple of suggestions for the new show.
Oh, good. Well, I'd love to hear them. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, you've done such a great job as a communicator. You know the art and craft of radio and TV broadcasting like few people
That's
do.
very kind. Thank you.
And I'll be there. I'm going to give, of course, Rich. I think is great.
Oh, Rich is the TV guy. He's great on the radio. He'll do a fabulous job. And I love it that we're not competing with him. I did not know. In fact, for a long time, I thought he was going to do Saturday and Sunday. So I was very pleased when he said, "Oh, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing Saturday." I thought, "Oh, that's great." So we'll still do the internet version of the show, and we won't be competing against each other, which is, I think, the best. Yeah. I'm happy about that.
And Micah is very good, and he's going to be great.
Yeah. He's the future. Yep. Hey, a pleasure talking to you, Paul. Give my regards to Jennifer.
I sure will, and we'll be, and as soon as you can open up again, we'd love to come see the new place.
Yeah, you're just down the road. Yeah, deal. I'll wave at you as we go down to SFO.
All right.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good one. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts For this show, we talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on. And of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.